lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bombastic StarLeague Season 21, the Grand Finals, cRoSs versus Dewalt. I'm joined again in the caster booth today by none other than Mr. RZ Dahaki. How you doing?
Doing good. Really looking forward to the games today, right? These guys hit in the last round in the winner's bracket, and you know, Dewalt ended up taking that. cRoSs did get one really cool win, but this time I believe cRoSs had more time to prepare, so I'm expecting potentially a lot more of a banger of a series here.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be quite as one-sided. I'm still going to be having Dewalt as a favorite, obviously, but I think it'll be a little bit closer of a series. But we've got a bit of a surprise for you guys sitting at home. We're actually going to do a pre-game interview where I do a bit of a rapid-fire questions and ask Dewalt and cRoSs the same question, and they can take it in turns to give you the answers. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, both players will be ready to join us in a moment.
Yep.
cRoSs and Dewalt, you both.
Yeah, cRoSs is doing. Okay. Awesome.
All right, so Dewalt, since you come from the winner bracket, I'm going to give you the choice on whether or not you would like to answer your questions first or after cRoSs. Which would you?
I don't really care.
Oh, you guys need to decide. Take a.
Dewalt, go answer first.
Okay, Dewalt's going to be answering first. All right, so we're just going to jump right on into this. So, what motivates you guys to keep competing and stuff?
Because it's fun to play StarCraft. It's fun winning. That's the main reason.
Nice. And you?
It's a good reason. What was that, John? Or did you cut out?
Oh, I said, and you, cRoSs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, same thing for me. Mostly the tournament. Every time there's a tournament, I come back practice. So, and it's fun too. But definitely the tournament.
Nice. So how do you guys handle like the pressure and staying focused in high stakes games like BSL when there's money on them?
Well, if you got a lot of experience as I do in playing tournaments, it's not like that hard. Especially, I don't know, especially playing online right now. If you competing offline in some tournaments, there might be some pressure. Yeah, but overall, I don't have a lot of pressure lately when I play online tournaments, no matter what stage it is.
Nice. You're certainly playing a lot. I can see why. What about you, cRoSs?
Same thing for me as well. I don't really feel pressure when I play the tournament, and mostly I play for fun. So now definitely I'm in the grand final, so I want to do well. So I'm pressured, but in general, I don't really feel pressure because mainly I play it for fun.
Okay. So, what are your guys' methods for recovering from a bad loss to like bounce back in the next game? Like, say you've just had a really embarrassing loss, or you played really bad for whatever reason. What do you do to recover from that mint?
Maybe just take a day, 1 or 2 day off playing and make some in the real life stuff, and then just back whatever. I don't really know.
Nice. What you?
He's asking you,
Yeah.
Crossy. Your mic's cutting out at the end of your sentences, John, so it's not quite picking
Oh.
up at the end.
Oh yeah, my bad. What about you?
When I lose badly last week against Dewalt, I talked to my wife, bought a glass of whiskey, had the whiskey, slept, and start playing game again after 3 days. That's all I did.
Okay, that's fair. So, what inspired you guys to go from just being casual gamers to actual competitive gamers?
Just play more in tournaments, as well as ladder, win more, get more fun. That's pretty much it. The same as
Nice.
a reason why you just play the game.
And what about you, Crossy?
Same thing for me, just play a lot of ladder, find a practice partner, just play game, and that's what I do.
Cool. So how do you guys stay ahead of the meta, and what are some of like your pre-game rituals or routines to be able to perform at your best?
I tend to eat some spicy food maybe before some like important games. Like today, I ate a lot of Korean ramen. Spicy. It's pretty bad for my stomach, but still, it's fine.
I'm the same. I love spicy food, even if it's bad for me. What about you?
I don't really have the pre game routine. I normally just show up on time and just play game. Many of you probably would have noticed even in LAN I showed up like a minute before the LAN starts and no practice games, just go into the game. And I don't really feel difference warming up before or just playing game right away. So I just show up and play.
Nice. The Magnus Carlsen of StarCraft. All right, so what is your training like outside of the tournament games overall?
Sorry?
What was your training like? Like, describe what you do to get better at StarCraft.
Oh, just play more, analyze your replays, like try to understand what tend you to lose, why you lost this game, and try to not make this mistake again in the next games.
Okay, and you, Cross?
I like to play against better players than myself. I don't really care about losing games, and I believe that the way to get better is to get smacked by the much better players than myself. So
can relate.
not anymore, but I used to like ask games to Dewalt, Boneth. I like to snipe Korean pros in ladder just to get
Nice.
smacked, and yeah, that's what I do.
So how do you guys prevent burnout and a loss of motivation to like maintain your drive and focus to keep playing at the level that you do?
RazBW is sub a Gosu for 28 months.
I don't know. I don't really have this feeling like that I'm burned out. Just
Oh, really?
like just stop playing for now, and the next day or few days later it will be fine. It will be the same.
What about you, Cross?
Same thing for me. I don't really feel burnout from the game. We play this game for fun. We are not full time, so I just play. By the way, Soon, can you ask Dewalt some questions about what his strategy will be today? So because it seems like the questions are general questions, and
yeah, I'm trying not to give you guys too much insight into what the game plan is going to be here today. I don't want you guys metagaming each other too much. So what are your guys' biggest weakness as a player, would you say, and how are you working on improving it?
I don't know. I just maybe sometimes it feels like I'm a straightforward player, playing the same over and over. But I think it's if you're better than your opponent, it's fine. So maybe I need to like prepare more some specific strategies, as I do sometimes. But answering the cRoSs question, I didn't really prepare anything special for you today.
What do you think about that, Cross?
good to know. I didn't prepare anything today as well, so
What was your answer to the original question? Like, what would you say is your biggest weakness as a player, and what do you work on to improve it, Cross?
biggest weakness for me is also the strength of me. I think I'm a very fast player. However, sometimes I kind of don't think during the game because I'm just very focused on my hands and what I'm doing with micro and everything. Sometimes I have to calm myself and think about what I should do. But that's sometimes that's how I miss the build timing, make mistakes. That's what happens.
Okay, that's fair. What would you have any advice for some aspiring players, say they're looking to become a StarCraft competitor like you guys in tournaments like the BSL, rather than just playing on the ladder? Like, what would you have advice for people wanting to be like?
Well, just enjoy the game. If you like it, if you have fun playing StarCraft, then just continue playing more and try to analyze the games, watch some Korean pros to get better. Just like choose one or two Korean pros, follow their games via replays or just first person view, and just try to get better if you like it.
Yeah. What about you, Crossy? What advice would you have?
I would say don't afraid to lose the games. I think this is for everyone. You have to play. If you play against players that are same level or level below you, then you don't really improve. You have to play the better players than you to get better. And I'm pretty sure Dewalt would agree too when he was training with Korean pros a couple of years ago. That's how he got really good too. So
Yeah, I
don't
think you
afraid
kind
to
of have to
lose.
play someone that's superior to you to even know what you're doing wrong, because they're actually going to punish your mistakes more, right?
That's right.
Okay, so if you guys could change anything about the StarCraft competitive scene, what would it be?
I think it's fine in this state. I won't change anything.
That's a good answer. What about you, Cross?
Same thing. Really appreciate the tournament organizers, always organizing the tournament, a lot of hard work and time into it. So really appreciate that. And really there's nothing I want to change. I'm just a player.
Nice. I like those answers. And yeah, people like Zero definitely doing a lot for the scene. So shout out to him. Okay, so are there any other games outside of StarCraft that you guys enjoy playing, and why?
Sometimes I play StarCraft 2 just for fun. I think it's fun on some like levels. I play some StarCraft 2 tournaments on my like level range, and I play some just random games which my viewers would pay for. That's
Like
pretty much
Brotato.
it.
I remember your Brotato streams. You did that for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Played some Brotato challenges.
What about you, Krusty? Any other games?
I play PUBG once a time. I don't play much, maybe once a month or so with friends. And StarCraft is the only game that I can play by myself, I think. Or other games too, but
And
that's
why?
just the game that I play.
Why is that? Why do you only play StarCraft? Is it just because you love it and nothing else really does it for you, or is there a specific reason?
I play golf and I need to buy a new driver shaft, so I needed the price.
Okay. All right, so final question for you guys. What is the thing that you love most about StarCraft?
I don't know, just playing the game in general. Like I really like to play, be in the game, think about what move I should make next, what is my opponent like plan and stuff. Just the game general. I don't
Okay.
know anything special.
What about you, Cross?
What I like about StarCraft is I think it's a constant learning through practicing last 1 week to play against Dewalt. I got some new concept, and always, even though I'm S rank, it's never ending learning in StarCraft, and metas are keep changing. So if you don't play for a month, you basically can fall behind. So I really want to appreciate all the people who helped me to practice for the series, no matter the outcome. Thank you to Dragon, Bonnet, and other NAS family. Just wanted to give a shout out because they spend a lot of
Nice.
time for me.
Well, on that note, do you guys have anything you also want to say to your fans? And Dewalt, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to for helping you practice or just being there for you or anything?
Well, I've just played ladder, so thank you very much, Korean ladder Zergs, for helping me out. And thank you very much for thank you. I want to thank you. Thanks my fans for supporting me. I know a lot of people will watch from my stream, so thank you guys a lot for rooting for me. I will try my best to win this BSL.
Nice. Crossy, any words to your fans?
A lot of people encouraged me last 1 week, and I really appreciate your messages and cheering and all. I played a lot last 1 week just to perform better today. So I practiced a lot, so we'll see what happens.
Nice. Well, good luck to both of you in your games today. I'm hoping we'll get a really good series. Ozzy, Dahaki, do you have any questions or statements you would like to throw in there before we wrap it up?
Yeah, so I have a question for Crossy and an offer for Dewalt. Okay. So my question for Crossy first is, last week I hit you on ladder, and I know we don't want to talk too much about your strategy or give anything away, but you did immediately ask for paper, rock, scissors. And I was curious if maybe if you get to the last game, if maybe that's part of your strategy, that instead of trying to play it out, you just go for a paper, rock, scissors win, or what's the plan there?
I would take that. I would definitely, because I did a lot of rock, scissors, papers in ladder because I've been sniping the Korean pros, and whenever I meet Terrans or Zerg, I offer rock, scissors, and paper. And my win rate was less than 20%. So I wouldn't take that. I'll just play a game. I think my win rate will be higher if I don't do rock, scissors, paper.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was good to give it a try. And then for you, DeWalt, I just wanted to say, if you win BSL today, I will give you an opportunity to rematch me in fastest so you can avenge that loss, okay?
Deal.
All right.
Nice. Thank you so much for the interview, guys, and best of luck in the finals. I hope you give us some good games.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right.
Well, that was a pretty interesting interview. Got some more insights into how these guys tick and how they think. And it's good to hear that Crossy's been playing a lot this past week. That gives me a bit more hope that we're gonna have a slightly closer series.
Yeah, so I don't want to say anything too much without him saying it first, but he played a lot with Boneth the last several days, and as far as a practice partner goes, that's as good as it could possibly get for practicing for Dewalt. So I'm
Yeah.
expecting to see him a bit more sharp than last week for sure.
Yeah, I really hope so. And Bonif is seriously sick in PvZ, and especially with his unit control, that will definitely sharpen up the skills across going forward. I'm actually kind of excited to see what we're going to have, because we've got like Screaming Sea as like the 7th set or something, and I hope that we can at least go into a deep series where we get to see a wider collection of the maps, like Litmus in set 5 and Screaming Sea in set 7. I really do hope we drag out the series a little bit so we can get to some of those maps, especially Screaming Sea, because I think that cRoSs stands a very strong chance of winning that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned before, if you guys weren't fully aware, Dewalt is going to be starting off with that 1-0 lead. So he has to win one last game to win this series, because he did go all the way through the winner's bracket, beating cRoSs in the previous round. So cRoSs is going to have to work a little bit extra as well. But yeah, kind of as we talked about, I'm really hoping we see, him in shape today, and I think honestly, that's what I expect to see with the amount of games that I saw him playing and the amount of ZVPs. And you look at the bracket here, he's got that 1-4 loss to Dewalt, and if you want to look on the bright side, cRoSs is the only person that's taken a game off of Dewalt so far in BSL. So
that's true, yeah. And he was probably a little bit rusty and not quite in his absolute peak condition during those games. And with all that practice in the last week, it could look a lot different. I still think Dewalt's a favorite, especially with the 1-0 lead. But I hope we're going to see a lot more wins on the board than just one this time around.
Yeah, and I expect it. Like I said, of course, if I'm a betting man, right, I would put my money on Dewalt. Anybody would, I would imagine, but yeah, it's not impossible, right? I mean, it can be done. He took some games off Bonnet as well this last week, so he can do it. And that's like we said, and like he said, that's when he wasn't preparing and wasn't practicing. Like he got to the finals and he's like, fine, I guess I'll practice. Like that's how good cRoSs is naturally, right? So it kind of makes you wonder if he really did play full time, like how good he really could be at this game.
Yeah, can you imagine if he played as much as Dewalt? Because Dewalt plays probably more than anyone else in the foreigner scene. He really does grind out a lot of games, and I do have to wonder if players like cRoSs could maybe be as good, if not better, than players like Dewalt if they just played the same amount of time.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. Maybe someday. Probably not, but maybe someday.
I guess at the end of the day, if you're playing the game for fun, you don't want to take the fun out of the game. Like Dewalt's a bit of a unique character where he genuinely enjoys to grind the game and play tons and tons of ladder, whereas someone like cRoSs probably wants to play a few games here and there and take the game less seriously. So if he did train as much as Dewalt, it might give him a bit of burnout and not enjoy the game as much. So I can understand why a lot of these guys don't play as much as.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see that, or hear Dewalt say that he doesn't burn out, right? Like that's actually so important, like as a pro player. Like I mean, and he is a pro player, like in the foreign scene, right? He does it full time. So for him to say that he doesn't burn out, he doesn't get tired of it, and if he has a bad day, like he'll just take a day off and come back the next day, like no problem. I think that's actually kind of amazing for him that he can just happily do this continuously, right?
He gives me hope that he's going to be around for the long haul, and that he's got an increased chance of eventually qualifying for the ASL. That would be super hype. There's a few Chinese players that are already getting really close to getting into the ASL, and if we can get Dewalt in there, that would be something special, man. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
All right, well, both players are in the lobby, just waiting on confirmation from cRoSs whether or not he's ready. First map going to be Radon. Probably one of the more balanced maps that we've got. Slightly more edge towards Zerg, but we're all ready now, so we're going to jump right into this game. cRoSs versus Dewalt on Radon. Let's... Spawning here in the top right, representing Russia with love, Dewalt on Pro.
And his opponent here spawning in the top left corner, representing the Canada part of North America, we have our Zerg player cRoSs.
Nice. Oh, by the way, if my mic ever does that thing again where it's like cutting out, just let me know and I'll quickly restart my OBS and Discord.
Okay. It's still doing a little bit, I'll say that.
Well, why don't you talk for like 30 seconds? I'm going to quickly restart it now just to avoid it.
Absolutely. I can take it. We got it. Alright, so yeah, both these players, kind of like we were talking about, Dewalt obviously is going to be a little bit favored. cRoSs very well prepared, though, I think, compared to usual. We're going to see that pylon into the scout from Dewalt, so this does indicate that it's going to be a forge opener. And he's going to go cross-spawn, actually. So he was doing this before, and I don't quite remember the exact optimization here. I saw some people talking about it, but I kind of wasn't paying the most attention. But there is some sort of optimization you can go for with this cross scout off of the pylon scout here. It has to do with like your nexus timing, right? So I think if it's cross spawn, that he can maybe go for that 14th probe, especially in a map like this, and kind of delay that cannon a little bit longer. But in this case, it's not going to be cross spawn, and cRoSs is going to get the first scout as well, so that'll be kind of nice for him.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, Jean.
Ooh, first scout for cRoSs. I bet that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah, I was talking about the first scout from cRoSs and the scouting pattern from Dewalt that he was doing in the last series, where he does this kind of cross-spawn scout after the forge, or after the pylon.
Yeah, this is really nice for cRoSs. Like, we had so many games where he was just getting, like, probe scouted first, and now, like, it's a bit of role reversal, where he's going to get this hatchery up in the natural, uncontested, and he's going to see the Forge Fast expand, and where Dewalt is right off the bat. About as good as it can get here for our Zerg.
Yeah, when they played last time, right, wasn't it almost every single game there was a probe delaying his hatchery, so he's at least going to get up to a better start this game, where he doesn't kind of have to get annoyed by this first scout.
I mean, there's a lot of luck in StarCraft, right? Obviously, there's player skill is the most important thing, but sometimes, you know, RNG just doesn't go your way. Snow was saying about his finals match, you know, against Soma, that like he literally had a strategy planned that he could never do because he never got the spawn positions that he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does make a big difference, and part of being, you know, a high-level player is being able to navigate the unlucky situations, right? Because there's no such thing as a game where, obviously, you can't play perfectly, but you're also going to have, you know, quote-unquote bad luck in every single game, right? There's no game that doesn't have something that goes wrong for you, so you just always got to be able to navigate and adjust to whatever's happening correctly and quickly.
Absolutely. I think the best players are those that can think on their feet and freestyle. There's a lot of gamers, especially Terrans, where they're kind of like very rigid and like stuck on the railroad tracks, and as soon as they have to navigate away from that, they just fall apart. Whereas if you're comfortable, you know, roaming through the jungle, you tend to be one of the better players.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely one of those players where if I get first scouted by Protoss, I'm pretty much ready to quit the game and go next.
You're trying to be like the Artosis 2.0 or something, right?
Something like that. It's just, it's painful, man. And you know, Zerg's probably, I mean, Zerg actually gets it worse than we do as Terran players. Like, we get like the minor nuisance of the Zerg like harassing our SCV, and it like delays some of our stuff. But Zerg not only having their hatchery delayed, but also having to purposely misplace it for like longer transfers and stuff. Like, it actually does so much more damage to you guys than it does to us. So we really shouldn't be complaining as much as we do.
Yeah, it does. I would say overall Zerg is easier to play than Terran, but there are like a lot more grievances that you have in the early game. As again, you'll really have to be on top of your optimizations. It's a lot more stressful, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so go on.
I was going to talk about Dewalt dancing this probe round, kind of keeping an eye on the lane count, more or less, and cRoSs is going to be trying to delay or deny him from getting inside, but he actually sneaks by the lings here a little bit, but I don't think he's going to get into the main. Yeah, we'll have the lings walking the ramp, yeah.
Yeah, there is a gap, but as long as the lings aren't on hold position.
Oh, no.
Oh, that shouldn't have happened. That's unfortunate. Yeah, cRoSs is going to be a little bit annoyed about that because he's going to see the spire. And it's
right before lane speed finish, too.
Yeah, that's painful, man. I wonder if like Dewalt's got it timed out where he knows when the ling speed should be kicking in, so that's when he's checking the ramp with the probe right before that ling speed's a factor.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It might actually be that mapped out, right? That he's like, if this is a layer first, the ling speed should be at this time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
so-
really good news for Dewalt, man, because now he's going to get really good scouting information once the Corsair pops out as well. There's nothing that will really catch him off guard going forward. I mean, cRoSs could be a little bit fancy. You know, he could like make a second gas and a Hydra Den at his third and kind of obfuscate what his plan is here. But I haven't seen a lot of cross-teching from the foreigner Zergs. It's not that common right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that really hurts the most about this scout is that Dewalt knows he can skip the cannons, right? Because normally there's like the start the cannons and then cancel them timing, which does, you know, kind of hiccup the build just a tiny bit. But because he solved the lair and spire, he doesn't have to do that at all. So really gets to optimize his build order because of that scout.
Yeah. I mean, he is eventually throwing down the Hydra Den, but it's like a more typical like 5-hatch Hydra timing, and the second gas is slightly delayed, so Dewalt can be pretty sure that this won't be something like a pre-storm Hydra bust. It's most likely just going to be 4 Scourge into mass Hydra. It could also be 5 Muta as well. That's still a possibility. That's why Dewalt's throwing down a cannon in his main base, just in case there'll be those 5 Mutas popping out soon.
Yeah. Yeah, cRoSs looking for the Scourge here, or the Corsair here with the Scourge, but not going to be able to find them. So the Corsair going to be able to tuck back home happily after picking off that Overlord. And yeah, everything just kind of going along normally here for Dewalt. We're going to see that little bit of a Zealot push out, and this is kind of that, hey, you went Scourge, you didn't go Muta, so let me force you to make some Lings or some sort of response here to the Zealots poking out.
He did make a creep at his third and his natural, so he can get a sunken at each. Oh, a few idle drones. That's a little bit suboptimal. Leg enhancements just kicking in now. Got some links to block, but 6 Zealots can be a little bit scary. But seems like upon seeing the Lings, he doesn't want to really challenge that. He could just run by into the main if there were no Lings there, but with the Lings there to block, it's a little bit suboptimal to go for a play like that. Mutas are just now popping out in the nick of time to ward away these Zealots, so honestly, cRoSs's not doing too bad. Like, one of the hard things about Radon is like you can't really sim city this third base that well. So the fact that he's already deflected the first Zealot timing before going into 6-hatch Hydra, that's actually quite a good feeling as a Zerg.
Yeah, I feel like both players have kind of got to do everything about as optimally as they wanted, right? Neither player really having a hiccup or anything like that. And that's me just actually coming out just in time so that that hatchery wasn't under threat, because like you said, the sim city is pretty hard there and there's no way to cover that top hatchery from the Zealots. So yeah, if those Mutas don't come out to scare off those Zealots, it could actually be pretty scary for cRoSs, because you definitely can't afford to lose a hatchery.
Yeah, I like this DT from Dewalt as well. This isn't just to do Radon, this is also to scout and see like what's popping at these eggs. Like, is there more Mutalist? Are you going to start making Hydras now? It's actually quite common in the meta to start scouting with a DT, because you don't want to risk your Corsair fleet early on and get any of them sniped.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit robotic. I don't know if that's me or if that was coming from your end, but yeah, a little bit of a audio hiccup there. Maybe some lag or something. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
well, let me know if that persists.
But yeah, we're gonna see the Zealots come out here with this Archon. This is actually kind of a surprisingly common push. We have a lot of Scourge here for the Corsair if they come in here, but I mean, with good Muta micro, this actually poses no threat. It is hard, obviously, to micro the Mutas against the Archon, but you can do it in a way where you don't get hit by the Archon at all.
Yeah, this have 3 range, the Archon has 2, but if the Archon is clicked on the Muta and you're not microing perfect, you will still eat a sonic shockwave shot. Kind of pick your moments where the Archon is like turned away, running in the opposite direction, and what's not paying your attention.
Sorry, your audio is actually getting worse.
Oh god, I don't know what it is. Go. I could try starting to score again.
Yeah, maybe try that, because it's very hard to understand now. Sorry. Alright, so he's going to do a quick restart again. Hopefully that gets fixed for him. But yeah, we're going to continue with Dewalt here. He's going to be pushing out just a little bit. This is kind of a threat, but no damage really taken from cRoSs so far. And his fourth base is actually finished on the other side of the map. So I feel like the flow of the game has actually been going quite well for him. And there's no Templar pushing forward here yet. There are, what is that, 4 or 5 Corsair with this Archon Storms building up. Yeah, so it's going to be 5 Sarah there. So the Mutas are it's going to be hard for them to kind of find the damage they want to find for sniping Templar with the Archon and 5 Sarah there. But if he gets any snipes, I mean, the flow of the game has been going, I would say, pretty well for cRoSs, completely unhindered so far.
I would say so. He's rushing into Hive with a 4th base already up in the bottom left. This is not a bad game for cRoSs at all. By the way, let me know if my microphone still has any issues. I'll do what I can to resolve it.
Yeah, that sounds good right now.
Okay, cool. Good to know, good to know. All right, Observatory coming up from Dewalt, but I doubt cRoSs is going to be aggressive this game. It seems like he's just in pure macro mode right now, wanting to race ahead to not only get the cracklings online, but to eventually go into Defiler play as well. He's going to be very defensive with lurkers. Dewalt being a little bit active now, coming out onto the map with his cRoSs and his infantry force. He's got quite a lot of Storm available to him, but I think cRoSs should have a big enough macro engine to thwart this attack. He hasn't got any forward defenses set up besides this couple of lurkers he's setting up now. So he actually is a little bit flimsy to Dewalt getting on top of his rally points and starting to skirmish with him, but it doesn't seem like Dewalt wants to pull the trigger on that. He's actually kind of playing a bit passive and just setting up his 3rd.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have the observers yet, right? So he can't really push in until the observers come out. So the timing of these lurkers were pretty much perfect and make it where Dewalt can't come out on the map. And, you know, he's starting his 3rd now, but cRoSs actually got this 4th base up and running just a little bit here pretty early on. He did get a little bit of a connection with the Sarah there, but I mean, obviously losing all these metas is not great for cRoSs. Bit of a throwaway at the end there. Didn't get any of the value that he wants, but with the Hive finishing up, and we've got the Lings and stuff coming out now, this is completely opposite of how cRoSs was playing last time they played, right? He was doing a lot of like lair tech, like battle style, and this is going really macro heavy straight to kind of the end game here.
Well, one thing I found interesting, he's caught these lurkers out of position. That's actually a really nice win for Dewalt, and he is pretty Zealot heavy, so even if Dark Swarm does finish up in time, there might still be enough fighting power for Dewalt to get under those Dark Swarms and still clear out some of his positions, but the Storms will have to be phenomenal. There's so many Zerg units that have been pulled at the rally point. He's going to have to box select the majority of them and just start chucking Lings at the problem as Dewalt starts to challenge this bridge. It's a very tight choke for the Zerg to try and get across, so Dewalt is going to just skirmish from this advantage point over and over again and try and bleed as many of these Zerg units off as he can.
Yeah, cRoSs is doing a good job here of not like over-sending his units, right? He's sending them kind of in pieces at a time to make sure they're not bunching up too hard for the Storms. And actually a bit of a lane counterattack going to the 3rd base here for Dewalt while this is happening. And there's nothing in position to really stop these Lings. And with Adrenal done, this Nexus is actually going to go down. And this is a huge moment for cRoSs with this Nexus going down because, like I said, we are mining our 4th gas in the bottom left node.
He doesn't have the adrenal glands actually just yet. It's not quite finished, but it should be done soon. Nice snipe on the High Templar. The Nexus is super low. He might still be able to get it without that crackling upgrade. He is going to get it. That's seriously sick. The crackling's just now finished, so the Zerglings have a lot more damage potential. cRoSs just has to hang on and not die, and he's going to be in a fantastic spot. Once Defilers come out, once he's got that Dark Swarm, he's going to really nullify all of these Dragoons' potential, and Dewalt is going to have to rely predominantly on just Zealots, Archon, and Storm only.
Yeah, he is still trading extremely well here out at the front of cRoSs' base, so it's really important that cRoSs doesn't bleed off too many units while this is happening. Actually, a bit of a misrally, these 2 Templar. They might get picked off by that Ling at the 12 o'clock, which is actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is like 1 Ling to rule them all, man. It's actually kind of insane that 1 Ling is killing Templars right now. There's not that many units in reserve for cRoSs as well. Dewalt might smell weakness and try and pounce on that, but he's not really got that many Dragoons to challenge that position. He's just setting up his 3rd yet again, now rotating towards the southern hemisphere of the map, but cRoSs has Nidus Canal set up, so he can easily rotate his units down to defend if he needed to. And that might force Dewalt to kind of just stay and try and skirmish over and over again, but he doesn't have tons of Storm.
Yeah, he's a little bit light on Storm, and he's actually going to be mining out of his main and natural here in the next couple of minutes, but cRoSs's done a good job of kind of just barely holding on. Nice bait of the Storm there. Doesn't really take much loss, and even some of the Zealots taking some damage from it, and that's a huge moment. I mean, every single Storm that cRoSs can get Dewalt to bleed off without finding much value buys cRoSs more and more time, and as time goes on, it's going to get better for cRoSs.
Oh, absolutely. Like cracklings are good, but they're not really good until Plague and Dark Swarm is done. So cRoSs just has to hang on right now. He's in a fantastic spot. He hasn't got a lot of drones mining in that base in the bottom left. He's probably just like full on pumping out tons of units to make sure he doesn't die, and he might saturate it a bit more later. And he's doing another counterattack towards this third base of Dewalt. It's not just slings, this time some lurkers as well, and there's only zealots to defend, so these lurkers could trade well, but seeing that many cannons, he's actually pulling back and thinking better of it.
Okay. So obviously cRoSs knows better than me. I looked at that and thought that looked really good for him because it was so zealot heavy with those like extra lurkers coming in. I really liked what I was looking at, but cRoSs decides that it's not really going to be worth the potential losses, right? And it is true, like he's in a good spot right now. If he throws all of that in there and doesn't find the kill, then it actually does make him a lot weaker.
Well, I think he could technically win the trade, but there won't be enough damage left over to kill the Nexus as well, so it might not be worth it. It might be better to keep these units out on the map and go for a flank instead. He's going to allow Dewalt to come across this bridge, and some of the rest of the units are going to come and join up from the flank. He's actually not really surrounding with that many units. This might be really good if he could somehow get more of these units behind Dewalt, but it's just 3 lurkers. But he's still trading pretty darn good against Dewalt, you know, RZ. This is looking better and better. He's now going for a counterattack at the 12 o'clock where Dewalt is trying to establish his 4th.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good moment for cRoSs. He is going to push into this 12 o'clock spawn, but this observer going to show up and clean this up. And not really finding a whole lot of value. He does kill a lot of the zealots there with the lurkers at the tail end, but Dewalt really committed to maybe, he was thinking about finishing off that Evo chamber, but he actually didn't quite get the kill, so a lot of zealots ended up going down without trading super well. And right now we're sitting on even supply, but this is even supply where cRoSs has all of his tech. We've got defilers out, we've got consumed done, we're on our hive tech. Like, this is not the usual, like, yes, it's even, but they have their death ball and we're on their tech. cRoSs is ready for this right now.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, the win percentage is just rising for the Zerg, and it's only in the super late game where it becomes more even for Dewalt. So this is a fantastic opportunity to start ramming it across the map and doing as best the trade as he can manage. This is not terrible for cRoSs at all, as long as he can keep these lurkers reasonably spread so there's not too much value from the storms. He might find a way of dislodging Dewalt from being able to support this base at the 12 o'clock. I think there's just one single High Templar up there. If he can keep enough lurkers forward and he can start running more and more rally point units to this 12 o'clock base, he actually might kill it.
Yeah, for the first time in this game, we're seeing cRoSs the supply lead as well. These probes even going to rally into the lurkers and go down during the transfer. And Dewalt's trying to fight into these lurkers, under these swarms. The Archons, though, can't do any damage to these burrowed lurkers under the swarm. It's just entirely the Zealots trying to chip away at it. And Dewalt is actually going to be forced to abandon this location and maybe try to counter bottom left. But honestly, that setup from cRoSs bottom left is completely ready for it.
Yeah, I love that he's got these lurkers already out in front. They'll buy him so much time to get units transferred through the Nidus Canal to buffer and protect this 5th base that is being established by him as well. cRoSs's playing out of his mind. This practice has really paid off in a big way.
Got a top on top left? Yeah.
Ooh, Storm Dropper. He actually dodges with some
like
of those drones.
Yeah,
he didn't lose a lot of drones. That's kind of insane. Needs to manually come and kill this shuttle. It's just barely escaping by the skin of its teeth with like 2 shots remaining. He's got Hydras trying to wrap around from both sides to get the kill on that, and he does clean it up. There's now hardly any pressure on cRoSs at all. He's even got a Zergling scouting around the map to intercept Dewalt from setting up another base. He's on just 1 mining base right now. He's going to call GG. cRoSs evens out the series in the first game on Radion.
Dude, I don't want to sound like Artosis right now, but I actually do have nerd chills, okay? that game from cRoSs was absolutely beautiful, and that is not what we saw in any of his games in the previous series. That was insane play from cRoSs, and it's not like Dewalt looked weak either. I mean, that was just the typical like strong fighting, and we saw like
KarolinkaZZZ
cRoSs was
tip
very
10
close
euros.
to getting cracked
We're not
when
even
he did
halfway
that counterattack with the Lings to kill the Nexus. He was very, very close to losing that position and losing access to a 3rd and losing the game. But he barely held on, and his transition from there looked amazing. He wasn't caught off guard by anything from Dewalt.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the best macro games we've seen in ZVP in BSL for a long time. That was seriously well done from cRoSs, and I have big hope for him now fighting back strong in this series. Who knows, man? He's looking so good, he might even be able to win this thing.
If he keeps playing that good, and if Dewalt, you know, can't find an answer to how cRoSs is playing, then absolutely it is possible. I mean, yeah, that cRoSs, that game didn't look like any of cRoSs's previous series, so maybe Dewalt, you know, because of his recent kind of, you know, I'm just gonna call it a stomping, because other than cRoSs's like weird game that he won, Dewalt did kind of run through cRoSs. So maybe he was underestimating cRoSs a little bit, and we'll see if he takes it a little bit more serious, or maybe focuses up, or whatever is going on here, right?
Well, that one win on Metropolis was actually quite special. The amount of chaos in that game was insane. Even the DT killed so many drones, and cRoSs still found a way of winning it. And I saw on Dewalt's stream after BSL that he was actually studying that replay and kind of going over it at a slow speed as well. He wasn't even rushing through the replay. He was really analyzing what even happened in that game. Might have rattled him a bit.
Yeah, pretty insane from cRoSs this last game here on Radon. Looks like we're going to be going to Polestar next. Pretty much the next most standard map in the map pool, right? I don't know anybody that dislikes Polestar. Like, every race seems to like this map, which is, it's just a good map. This is one of the best maps I feel like we've had in a while.
I mean, it gives you a very easy access to a third gas. It's very defendable. SimCity is relatively easy here as well. There's not really much to dislike about the game. You know, there's a little bit of spiciness as well. You can attack the third base from the main base. You know, like you can kind of do like on Polypoid, where you do a storm drop from inside the main base of the Zerg or what have you, or lurker drop behind as well. So yeah, there's definitely options for a little bit of spiciness, but overall, it's just a really solid macro map.
Yeah, it is, and it looks like cRoSs might be trying to approach this. So, again, I didn't want to give any spoilers away, especially during the interview. But when I was watching Bo9 and cRoSs play this morning, because they were doing some practice games before the match today, in Discord, and I was watching, and I was gonna make a joke because I stepped away for a few minutes, came back, and I saw Defilers out, and I was like, oh look, cRoSs's making Defilers for the first time in his ZVP career, because he didn't do it ever against Dewalt, right? And then here we go, first game. So this seems to be something he was legitimately realizing that he needed to add to his game for the series.
I think so. I mean, the Dewalt's strongest ZVP mechanic is that he's crushing you in the mid game. But if you play more defensive and just survive and get to a late game where you've actually got access to that utility, and you've got Dark Swarm to nullify the Dragoons, Plague to get the Cracklings online and just start ripping through the Protoss army, that seems to be working out pretty good for cRoSs, and it's certainly the macro Zerg way to go about things. That is when Zerg's win percentage is at its highest besides something like a Hydra Bust. It's actually really hard for Protoss to even out the game from that point onwards. They kind of have to take half the map and make tons of Reavers to really do it.
Yeah, once Zerg gets into that high tech, you do pretty much have to do that Reaver transition. There's kind of that yo-yo or that seesaw, right, in this matchup where the early game, like the very early game, Zerg kind of has control, right, because of the Lings and Hydras and things like that. But then the mid game going into it, Protoss will have the lead until Zerg kind of gets into that hive tech, and then Zerg has control now because Defilers are out, but then you get your Reavers out, and yeah, there's just this constant yo-yo in this matchup as the tech advances.
I was just so impressed that not only was like cRoSs super defensive and shut down all of the attacks of Dewalt, he was really proactive with his scouting out on the map to make sure there was no ninja expansions going up, and also the counter attacks were very well timed to disrupt Dewalt's insurance policy, because Dewalt tends to do that. He tends to like kind of hedge his bets, and he'll take the expansion, but he'll also be hyper aggressive and try and skirmish with you. But if you've got enough units to defend and send a couple of control groups to go kill the base that he's establishing, that seems to be a really good counter to Dewalt's style.
Yeah, it did seem to work really well here. That's kind of like almost ZVP 101 at that stage of the game, like try to survive while killing the third, right, every time Protoss moves out. But someone against against someone like Dewalt, it never really feels like an option, because, you know, I've said it time and time again, Dewalt always seemed like an iron wall to me, where it seemed like there's just no way to make attacks work against him. But yeah, cRoSs sniping that third seemed to be just enough to buy him the time and space that he needed to get into the late game to overwhelm Dewalt.
Yeah, man, he looked fantastic that game. I'm just so happy we're already tied up in this series. You know, we can just treat this more like a best of 7 from this point on, except now cRoSs has the tempo advantage as well going forward. And that also means there's more possibilities of getting through to the later sets with maps like Screaming Sea. It's a very Zerg favored map. If cRoSs can hang in there and trade games with Dewalt long enough, Screaming Sea is going to help him close the series out, man.
Yeah, it's very Zerg favored if you're not playing against Bana. That's what it seems like to me. At least here in the foreign scene, right? Because it encourages all of Bana's favorite units, and I'm really curious how Dewalt would actually play it out, because he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that, it's not that he can't play that style, but he just doesn't play it, so I can't imagine he's as well, like his execution of it, I feel like wouldn't be as well as Bana's.
No, and I mean, Dewalt kind of touched upon that in the interview a little bit, where, you know, one of his weaknesses being like needs to kind of adapt his style and, you know, builds and stuff a bit more. He is quite rigid in his versatility and what variety of stuff he can do. What he does do is very good, but he's a little bit limited with some of those other options. But we're all ready to jump into our next game, guys. Set number 2 on Polestar. Let's get it. Spawning here in the bottom left, tying up the series 1 game apiece, the Zerg cRoSs.
And his opponent currently down 1-0 on the day, right, is our Protoss player from Russia, Dewalt. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what you were just saying about Dewalt being kind of like predictably standard. Yeah. It's one of those things where we can say that it's like objectively bad at the highest level to play that way. The problem that I feel like Dewalt runs into is in the foreign scene, because he is so good compared to everybody else, it's good enough for him to win playing this way.
Yes, yeah,
but
that's
then
kind of
when
how
he
I
hits
feel.
the next tier, yeah, he hits that next tier, and it's like he doesn't have that repertoire that you need when you're hitting the like top
Right.
levels that we always see from the top Koreans.
Yeah, because even though best is like quite literally the best macro Protoss on the planet, he'll still randomly throw in a DT play, like 1 in 5 games or something, because he knows that he needs to obfuscate his build order range. You can't just let yourself be metagamed by these better guys, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get an overpull again from cRoSs. Pretty standard, does get first scouted this time, so the you know, luck going back the other direction now compared to that first game. And it wasn't the crawl scout either from Dewalt. I wonder if it's map specific for Radon because of the travel distance, that he just wants to get that extra shortcut.
Yeah, it might be that, yeah.
Probe. Or sorry, add that extra probe. Yeah.
Well, it's nice that cRoSs at least going to identify that it's a forge first, but honestly, Dewalt kind of does that pretty much every single game anyway, and there's a chance that he gets this hatchery block. He's actually like faking taking the third and is going to rotate back to take the natural. Nice little optimization from cRoSs there.
Yeah, it's nice when you're allowed to do this. It's a bit of a risk, right? You saw with the Overlord that the probe was going back, but this is always kind of risky because if you start to send the probe back and then that probe turns back around, you end up losing more and more time on that hatchery, and you can actually damage yourself quite a bit if that happens once or twice.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a situation where a player will like think 1 step ahead of the other guy, but if he anticipates that and he metagames what you're trying to achieve, you can put yourself even further behind, and you're just outthinking yourself at that point. But it didn't seem like Dewalt even had that factored in.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely seen players do that bait where they're like, look, my probe's going into your main.
Yeah,
just kidding, I'm going back to your natural. And I've seen that dance. It's kind of an interesting dance when you see it. Actually, these lings get here a little bit early before the cannon here. They could get inside. We're going to have 2 lings on the inside. Oh, actually, nice body block.
He wins the coin flip with that fight on cannon shot. So only 1 ling getting into the main base, not quite as good. He can still be a bit annoying with this Zergling, but having 2 would have been way better. He's going to, you know, take a little chip damage on the probe here and there, but with just 1 Zergling, you can kind of chase that with a probe and keep refreshing it to a high health one over and over again.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, Dewalt's micro with that probe was so good. He was just winning the one-on-one against the Ling with a probe. Like...
It's his favorite unit, right? He said his favorite unit's probes.
Yeah. Yeah, that does.
And they are S-tier units.
They are by far the best worker.
They really
if anybody,
are.
Yeah, if anybody disagrees with that, you're, I don't know, a liar.
There's like some nuanced things they're not good at. Like when it comes to vultures, you know, the shield recharge is so slow they still get 2 shot by 1 vulture, and drones don't, for example. But in pretty much every other regard, probes are superior. He gets a probe.
he actually gets a probe at the end of the day. And I wanted to mention, you know, we see cRoSs, he's at 400 APM. This is not a fake 400 APM. If you guys have ever watched cRoSs stream,
He's really
he
fast.
doesn't, like, he does spam, I guess, a tiny bit, but he is legitimately fast. Like,
Yeah.
he was even talking about it, that he feels like one of his weaknesses is how fast he is because he's so focused on his speed, because it is also one of his strongest points. Like, he is probably the fastest foreigner that I'm aware of out here.
Yeah, he was saying that it's his like biggest strength and weakness, right? Like he focuses so much on his mechanics that he's not really thinking. He's just on like autopilot speed demon mode. But that does help him play like an absolute madman and make massive armies and control big armies as well. And that's going to really do some heavy lifting against Dewalt. You kind of need a lot of strengths when you're dealing with someone of Dewalt's caliber, man. Like, he would pretty much crush just about everyone in the foreigner scene, besides maybe like 1 or 2 players that I can think about.
Yeah. This early game, by the way, has gone pretty well for cRoSs. He killed the scouting probe, which is kind of guaranteed at that point, but he also killed 2 probes of those 2 lings, right? Because he killed one of the wall and one of the main afterwards. So getting 3 probe kills, it's not like a huge deal at this stage of the game, but it is an advantage that he didn't have last game.
Yeah, that's to be sure. And it makes up for him being first scout. He didn't really get a delayed hatchery as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, he still made his hatchery on time and everything. This is looking pretty good for cRoSs, all things considered, man. If he can get another win on the board as well, like the tempo advantage for winning 2 games early is pretty huge. He's actually taking the Hydra Den earlier this time, RZ, ever so slightly. So this is more like a cross-tech play where he's getting that Hydra Den before the 5th macro hatchery.
Yeah, we might end up seeing a 5-hatch Hydra pressure this game, potentially, instead of that 6-hatch macro play. So after winning that first game, maybe he wants to go a little bit more into his usual kind of comfortable style, which is typically kind of aggression and tempo.
Yeah, the second gas was ever so slightly faster, and the Den was quite a bit faster. So certainly could be like a pre-storm pressure play from him. And it's quite hard for Dewalt to fully make sense of that. Like, he's going to eventually see the Hydra Den at the 3rd and see no 5th macro hatchery. So he can kind of hedge his bets against that and assume it's a possibility. But you don't know for sure. Like, this could also be like a bit of a semi-Ogre Zerg gamer mode where he just makes Mutas and Scourge. Dewalt doesn't know exactly what's coming out of these Zergs right now.
Yeah, we have those Mutas coming across the map now. The 5th hatchery is on the way from cRoSs, and we may end up seeing a bit of some Muta pressure into a few drones. And I expect, based on the timing of everything, that there is going to be a Hydra follow-up behind this.
Yeah, I think he's made like 6 or so Mutas as well. This is a little bit more than 5. So there's a chance he could get on top of this cannon. The Corsairs are out of position. He's actually going to get on top of this cannon. And he's got 2 pairs of Scourge to get snipes and kills 2 Corsairs! Ozzy, this is insane. He's on top of the other Corsair, does a lot of damage to it. He's got another warping in cannon, but it might not be in time, man. Like, there's a lot of pressure, and he kills another Corsair. This is insane. He's doing so much damage. He's got another pair of Scourge waiting in the wings as well. He's so busy on his target firing right now. He's actually not bringing those Scourge to bear just yet. He's just now grabbed them to come in. He might actually potentially do crippling damage. He kills so many Corsairs. What is happening?
This is a disaster for Dewalt, by the way. This is 2 Stargate. The shield battery is going to finish now, so he can finally keep this alive. He actually has another Scourge here that could finish it off. We have additional Scourge coming in as well. We might get another snipe here, at least going to rally or force him into his natural. But you know, we're making a second Hydra Den. I think this is a mistake. I think cRoSs forgot that he had a Hydra Den. He might
Maybe.
be. You know, I was wondering, these are the kind of moments where your heart kind of gets going, because we saw, like, everything looked perfect from cRoSs, and then we saw a little bit of slip up, right, with some of the control, or not the control, but the multitasking. Because this was potentially game-ending. He killed, what, like 5-6 of the initial Corsair and a few probes, and forced the remake of the cannons, and he's on 2 Stargate Sair, with a potential Hydra follow-up behind us, where we got no value so far out of our Corsair, which is the worst thing you can be fighting against as Protoss.
I mean, he's gone 2 Stargate Sair, and he's losing probes to Mutas. This is quite insane. Oh, but he's taking quite a lot of free damage on those Mutalisks. There is a DT poking into the natural. Luckily, there's a Sunk in here to ward that away. But yeah, I do think that maybe... I think he cancelled that Hydra Den and threw down an Evo when he realized So yeah, definitely was a mistake and a missed opportunity, because had he cross-teched into Hydra a little bit faster, he might just be able to overrun Dewalt in this game. But he kind of forgot that he even had the Hydra to utilize it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe he decided to just macro out of it because he didn't have Overlord speed yet either.
Right.
And with the DTs coming out, but now we got these Corsair. Even though we killed so many, there's still a lot of Corsair who are going to chew up a lot of these Overlords. Luckily, another one comes down from the ramp to keep the DT away for a little bit longer. But now that DT can come back inside and start chipping away at these drones.
Ooh, it's pretty low on HP. Just needs like one more Overlord to pop out of one of these eggs to save the day. Does manage to get an evacuation order on those drones. Kills quite a lot though still. So many drones going down to that. Actually accidentally targets his spy with the Hydras. A little bit of panic here from cRoSs, and the Overlords in the main base getting taken down as well. Not having Overlord speed is hurting so much. Finally does clear out that Corsair, but the damage has kind of been done. Dewalt has kind of reset the game balance quite significantly now. He's probably feeling a lot more comfortable after that damage.
Yeah, that was a great recovery from Dewalt. He did not miss a beat on this Corsair, by the way. Despite how many he lost, he flew across the map with so many so quickly that he still was able to lead on cRoSs and get a lot of damage. So yeah, killing a lot of the Overlords, killing a bunch of the drones, and disrupting the mining. So pretty much every advantage that cRoSs got out of those mutas is more or less gone at this point.
Yeah, I would say Dewalt has pretty much like negated all of that damage now, and cRoSs is going to be the one catching up in the scale of the game. A really great recovery from Dewalt, man. The double Stargate didn't really get punished, right? Like, he killed a bunch of Corsairs, but there was no like Hydra bust follow-up to capitalize on delayed storm or anything. He didn't force a bunch of cannons. He just went into macro mode after forgetting that he even had a Hydra den, and that allowed Dewalt just to come across the map and do so much damage to him. And now you can see how hard the SimCity is on maps like this, where you kind of have to like, get inside your own mineral line with your Hydras on top of the sunken. So Dewalt doesn't kill that many drones in the end, even so. And actually cRoSs trades out pretty good. Like, he got a lot of those Zealots and body blocked them on the ramp as well. That actually went a lot better for cRoSs than I thought it would.
Like, to be honest, I thought it was going to be a disaster for cRoSs, honestly. It looked really bad at first, but his defense there was really good. A nice drill. It kind of tucked everything in there and got a decent drill with the drones and turned it out against the Zealots really well. Killed a lot of the Zealots, like you said, and I think maybe one or two of the Corsair went down, but still a lot of Corsair left. Very annoying for cRoSs that they're continuing to find a lot of value, killing a lot of Overlords, and it's kind of sucking through the mineral bank. But overall, I feel like it's been going okay for cRoSs. He does try to get that fourth base up and running, but unfortunately does get denied by the Zealots. Does catch another Corsair here on the left side, so down to just 4 Corsair now, so they can't really handle the Scourge anymore.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to make Corsairs at this point in the game, right? Like, you need so many Dragoons and Templars. It's great that he's been able to reduce that Corsair count. He's slowing down the third base timing as well. As long as he can just storm dodge over and over again and avoid good skirmishing from Dewalt. I actually really like cRoSs' position. It's looking a lot better than I thought it would turn out.
Yeah, cRoSs decides not to go for that bottom right corner anymore and just takes that fourth base, third location there in the bottom right. So I think this is going to be an easier place for him to defend for now. He can kind of pivot into it later. Does catch another Corsair here, and we're getting to that stage where Dewalt now has to kind of worry about a potential muta swap because he doesn't have a Dark Archon out, and his Corsair count is getting very, very low.
Yeah, and I doubt he will make more Corsairs. So there's definitely an opportunity to just go Hydra Muta a little bit, despite having some lurkers already, and just start sniping High Templars would be a good play. I don't necessarily think cRoSs will do that. I think it's more likely that he's got this base over on the right-hand side, that he's going to make just tons of lurkers. And looks like Dewalt wants to be a bit aggressive. He's taking the base at 9 o'clock, so he can kind of defend and attack at the same time on this vertical axis. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive third base. I think he was initially trying to take his normal third, but it was getting denied by cRoSs, and decided instead of dealing with that, he's just going to use the army being a little bit out of position for cRoSs to get into a very aggressive position. And we're at the supply count now, by the way, where that Deathball versus Lair Tech is very, very scary. Got a pretty good goon count. We got a handful of Templar here. It's a decent Hydra count, but we're down 40 supply for this fight. It can be very, very hard for Zerg to hold on here.
And there's not many lurkers critically as well, Arzi. I don't see hardly any, so he's going to have to storm dodge to his heart's content. Doing a pretty good job thus far. There's not that much storm. He actually potentially gets one of these High Templars as well before he can get his storm off, but he is bleeding a lot of Hydras behind this, and I don't think he's got tons of lurkers, but seems like he's done enough to make Dewalt turn around, but he has lost his fourth base hatchery during all of this, so this is still a win for Dewalt here. He's getting his third up. He's denied the Zerg's fourth base, so the job's already done for the Protoss so far.
Yeah, the cRoSs doesn't have a lot of longevity in this match right now, this game specifically. There is no hive tech on the right play, right? So we're just stuck on this Hydras and light lurker count against this deathball from Protoss, which is going up to a third base. It's going to be up and running here. We see the transfer going down to 9 o'clock. And while Dewalt's going to get pushed back a little bit here, it's kind of the same situation as last game. The more the time goes on, the worse it gets for cRoSs now instead.
Yeah, you can't really play Battle Zerg like this without a fourth base unless you're already winning the fights over and over again, and he certainly hasn't really been winning those fights ever since like killing a few Corsairs and the Zealots at his third. It's kind of been all Dewalt from that point onwards. He's got 1-1 upgrades. He's not doing too bad. I guess he's going to be able to constantly try and deny a fourth from Dewalt. That'll be his next win condition while he tries to establish his own fourth, but he's actually playing from behind right now. It's not looking ideal for our Zerg.
Yeah, he's going to go for a bit of a surround here onto this high ground army. He's going to catch these Templar potential on the backside. The Storms do get off, though, before they go down. A lot of damage going down onto these Hydras and Lurkers. Going to clean a lot of this up. A few of the Hydras do go to the 9 o'clock position. Kind of a missed attack, though. It's supposed to be part of this round. And
yeah. If
I mean,
only that came in quicker.
Yeah. cRoSs did better than I would have expected, but it's still not good enough, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, it's not good enough. If he had sandwiched with those Hydras on the left a little bit quicker, that fight might have looked a lot better for him. Oh, it's such a shame that he's losing all of those Lurker Eggs as well. That's really painful. He just has never been able to establish that many Lurkers in this game. It's kind of like where Terran has their siege tank count reset over and over again. He should just be making those Lurker Eggs back at home to guarantee getting those supporting units. You can't defend this with pure Hydra unless you're winning the trades by a large margin.
We actually saw cRoSs' hand come off of his mouse there for a second before he kind of knows that he's fallen behind. He's aware that this game is not looking great for him anymore, and he's going to keep fighting it out because he is he's a competitor, right? But he knows that the writing's kind of on the wall. He's going to be fighting it out, make Dewalt work for it a little bit longer. Dewalt gets his fourth base up and running. He does save his fourth base, does cRoSs. Get a little bit of a lag spike here. You can watch the slideshow.
Yeah, it's turning into a PowerPoint presentation very quickly, Arzi. Oh, and he's still not storm dodging. That's pretty painful. But yeah, this is pretty much a lost game now for cRoSs. There's just no answer to Dewalt laying siege to his Sim City line. He's got quite a few Hydras on this right flank, but 1 or 2 storms will be enough to keep that at bay. And there's just nothing to answer to this army of Dewalt. He's even taking a 4th base behind this and just streamlining units across the map to finish cRoSs off. I definitely think this is going to be a win for Dewalt now.
Yeah, it took us 16 minutes to get to this point. It might be another 16 minutes before this army clears all the bases. Probably just going to leave no GG called. Probably a little bit annoyed by the lag, which is pretty understandable. But the game, to be fair, was pretty much over at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, man. I feel like he could have done a lot better in that game. He was looking really good in the early game. He did a lot of great damage with the mutas, but Dewalt just bounced back really fast, man. It's a shame that cRoSs didn't identify that he already had a Hydra den. He would have been able to squeeze out a few Hydras to mitigate losing too many Overlords to Corsairs at the very least, even if he didn't want to be aggressive. You know, he can still macro up and just avoid taking huge losses back at home. He wouldn't have lost so many drones to the DT, wouldn't have gotten supply blocked so much while the Overlord's dying, and it would have looked a lot more of a better game from him.
Yeah, I think, you know, those, like you said, those mutas getting in and getting so much value, killing so many Corsair. I think if he's transitioning into the Hydras behind that, because he was actually already set up for it, like I said, maybe it's because he forgot Overlord speed or wasn't going for it or whatever may have went wrong, right? There's something that definitely went wrong. because the 5-hatch Hydra setup was already there and ready to go, and there was no Storm out, and Dewalt was focused on massing Corsair, right? So there was a potential window, I feel like, for cRoSs to just close the game out right then and there.
Yeah, he could either try and go for the win and just, be all in, make a bunch of Hydra and run it down, or he can, transition, make the drones, but, a few Hydras here and there to stop the Overlords getting eviscerated. Yeah. Either way, it would have been a lot better for him, as long as he just identified that you already made the Hydra den. It's a bit unfortunate there. Definitely a misstep.
Yeah, unfortunate, but you look at the first game, you look at that last game, right? It's looking pretty good for cRoSs overall. I think Dewalt is going to have that 2-1 lead. It is a little bit unfortunate for cRoSs that he is starting down that 1-0 in this series. Which is fair because he did lose to him, but yeah, it just doesn't feel as good. Where it's like I feel like cRoSs is playing really well, but it is going to be a 2-1 deficit right now for cRoSs.
Yeah, well, we can see if he can fight back strong. He did look super good in that game number 1, and he started off really well in game number 2. He's definitely capable of turning this series around still. Just going to be such an uphill battle with Dewalt having a free win on the board from coming in from the winner bracket. But both players are ready. We're jumping into game number 3 on Dominator. Let's get it. Spawning here at the 3 o'clock position. Currently 2-1 up in this series on Protoss from Russia with Love, Dewalt.
And his opponent here in the bottom spawn of Dominator is going to be our blue Zerg player from Canada, cRoSs.
Well, pretty good map for Zerg Dominator. On the earlier version, I think it was even better for Zerg. It's a little bit more even in recent times, but this is not a bad map to get aggressive on. Just go for a very quick 4-base play and just overrun the Protoss and just non-stop aggression. You can kind of play all in on 4 bases, and you don't actually need defilers on this map. You can play, just rush into crackling and try and run it down, or you can try and go a bit more defensive with the defiler setup. But there's a lot of options to Zerg and how they want to play that mid to late game transition on Dominator.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it's exactly that. There's more options, right? And both options are just a bit stronger on this map than the other maps a lot of the time. Like the late game Hive style and kind of defensive style is so strong because you have all these high grounds everywhere. Mm-hmm. And once Zerg gets into that defiler tech with lurkers and stuff on these high grounds, it becomes a nightmare for Protoss to push through. So we'll see if cRoSs wants to kind of stick to his usual layered tech aggression, or if he wants to go back into what he did that game 1, where he played like a really, really strong late game.
I mean, part of me is starting to think he might go back into the new style he's been practicing, because he looks so monstrously good in game number 1, and after losing the Battle Zerg in game number 2 in that fashion, he might be thinking, hang on a minute, maybe Hive play is the answer. Maybe I can actually win this series if I lean into that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm sure cRoSs's done high tech before. Like I was obviously making a joke when I said that about the defiler, but it's definitely, from what I've seen, not his usual style, right? But when he did play it that first game, it looks like that was his usual style. Like it just looked almost perfect. Whereas when he's playing Battle Zerg against Dewalt, it just feels like there's not really much opening to get things done a lot of times.
I think Dewalt is just really good at playing against Battle Zerg. It kind of leans into Dewalt's strengths more. Whereas when you're playing Hive Zerg, you're kind of putting Dewalt style on a clock, and like he's the one that has to make plays or he's gonna fall behind.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. But we'll see. We'll see what this game develops into. We're gonna get that Forge expand from Dewalt, and he did this every game against cRoSs as well, except for the very, very last one. He went for that gate expand, which it felt like Dewalt, or it caught cRoSs off guard, it felt like, because he had a very, very hard time handling it. And I know for a fact that cRoSs, like on the ladder, you play against so much gate expand that it's really common. Really, really good against it. Yeah, but I think cRoSs was just so like mentally drawn into the Forge expand games that he just wasn't like prepared for the Zealot harass.
And this is just a testament to why you should mix it up, right? If you allow the opponent to think you're a particular kind of gamer, it gives you an advantage if you can mix it up and kind of catch them by surprise like that. Oh, he's not mining gas. That's such a mistake. Okay, finally he notices. I thought for a second that he just wasn't going to notice for ages. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. It was just a few seconds of lost mining time on that gas. It is actually a pretty big deal because like Spire timing, link speed timing is actually really relevant in terms of like denying the scouting from the Corsair and the links, you know, catching things like the probe scouts as well. So it actually will hurt him a little bit if he's a few seconds behind schedule.
Yeah, those few seconds start making a bigger and bigger difference, especially when you're playing against opponents that are better and better, and their timings are going to be really crisp, right?
Yeah,
You being minus 3 seconds here, but they're 3 seconds faster than usual. Like that's a big gap all of a sudden between your opponents on your timings on everything.
Right. Absolutely, man. That's the kind of hilarious thing about StarCraft. It's like the only game where it's like two speed runners fighting against one another. It's like you have to be that perfect with your execution at the highest levels. He's made so many Zerglings, by the way. Like, I'm a little bit surprised to see this many Lings and that he showed Dewalt that he had this many Lings right off the bat. It's a little bit shocking to me.
Yeah, that was odd that he showed them all just for that throw, but I don't know if he's just trying to preemptively catch a big Zealot move out. I mean, it started to look like a potential Ling all-in. He made so many Lings.
Yeah, it did. I wonder if that's what he was going for initially and he just stopped making Lings when he got frustrated with catching the probe scout or something. I'm not too sure about that. It's going to be a Hydra Bus follow-up. So I'm a little bit confused about the timing and the sequencing of this. Maybe it was going to be a Ling heavy Hydra Bust where he's going to use 6 or so Hydras to kill the cannon or two in the backline while the Zerglings do the heavy lifting. But because he showed all those Zerglings and then also didn't trade them too cost efficiently against the Zealot in the mineral line at the third, I think this is going to be a lot harder to get a kill move with this Hydra Bust now.
Yeah, and Dewalt did identify that there's not a lair, right? So he's actually skipping Stargate and going straight for legs and extra gateways.
Yeah.
So he's going to go for the kind of overwhelm your Hydra type response here, which
It's a really good counter.
It can be super good. You can just straight up win the game sometimes, right? They show up with like a Hydra Bust and you just have so many Zealots, you run them down, you get to skip all your cannons and you can just keep up the tempo. If there's like a moment where cRoSs can kind of find him before the Zealot count gets too high, you can kind of micro it down, but it's very hard because there's just so many Zealots that can come out of this.
Yeah, let's see. I think it's possible that this Hydra Bust can be a little bit successful still. I don't know if he's going to full-on commit to this and make non-stop Hydra. I don't see anything moving out on the map right now. This might just be a pressure play to force a response out of Dewalt. He has got quite a lot of speed links behind this, so if he can get these Hydras into a good enough spot to snipe the cannons, this might still work out well for him. There's only 2 cannons that are finished up. He's having a little bit of a hard time getting his Hydras into firing positions, though. He kind of would move command onto the forge manually and then tell them to shoot the cannon. He had 2 Hydras glitched out there. And he's made a few additional Zerglings to come to the front as well. This is definitely not going as well as it should be for cRoSs. He's kind of just trying to make the most out of a bad situation. See if he can get a run by over some of these Zerglings to get on top of the cannons. He might be able to kill at least one of these cannons with the Zerglings, but he's not got enough meat on the bone to actually kill Dewalt with this.
Yeah, there's just so many Zealots already coming out for Dewalt, right? But Ling is actually the last thing you want against this. Is +1 Zealots. +1 did finish up as he ran through the wall there, so these Zealots are going to chew those limbs up, no problem. And this is kind of what we were talking about here, right? Where now the Zealots just overwhelm. And cRoSs, you're going to go ahead and GG, and Dewalt going to take a 3-1 lead in this series.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man. That was just, sloppy execution from cRoSs. He had a pretty good game plan there. He just didn't have the execution, showing the Lings early to the probe scout, not really getting the timing working for him, and even suboptimal Hydra control as well. When your Hydras don't have speed and you've gone range first, it's even more important to squeeze them up against the forge with a manual move command to make sure they can all shoot.
Yeah, a little bit of a small execution error there from cRoSs, but Dewalt also with a great response to what he was scouting, right? Pretty much the perfect response, actually, for what cRoSs was doing. And yeah, that's the last thing you want to run into. You're hoping to see, Corsair come out as you're coming in for this attack.
Right.
If you suddenly see, Zealots coming out 5x5, it's not a good sign.
Well, he did see no lair, but also seeing that many Lings might have been the real thing that tipped his hand to going for that counter play.
Yeah.
overall. It's a shame. But, you know, anything can happen still. Just because Dewalt's up 3-1 in the series doesn't mean that cRoSs can't turn it around. We've actually got Metropolis as our next map, which is where we had that really chaotic game where cRoSs beat Dewalt in that last series they played. So who knows? We could have a little bit of a rinse and repeat of that craziness.
Yeah, it's very possible that cRoSs whips out, you know, some more chaotic stuff. From what we've seen so far, when things are really chaotic, it does actually seem to favor cRoSs a little bit more. He does, and it is again because of how fast he is.
Oh boy, players ready, jumping into it now. Set number 4, Metropolis. Spawning here in the top left. Currently 1-3 down in the series. Needs to make up for it. The Blue Zerg representing Canada, cRoSs.
And his opponent here cross spawns on Metropolis. A very strong showing in the last couple games here. We have a Russian Protoss player, Dewalt.
Yeah, I have every faith that cRoSs can turn it around. This is a really good map for Zerg, man. Like, the third base is not that hard to take for Protoss, depending on spawns. But the fourth base is almost impossible. Like, this is a map where Battle Zerg is actually really strong if cRoSs does want to go back to his fundamentals.
Yeah, part of the issue we've had so far with these two clashing is that when Dewalt gets to 3 bases, he usually just wins with those 3 bases, right? Like, I agree completely that this is a very hard map to take a 4th base on, but it just feels like every time Dewalt's transitioning into his 3rd, he just has such a big lead that he can usually close the game out. That first game today is, I think, the first time we saw Dewalt get to 3 bases and still lose.
But that's obviously because he was against the hive-teching Turtle Zerg mode, right? Yeah. So you don't have to play Battle Zerg on this map, but, you know, it's the meta right now to play wider Zerg on this map and just keep driving a wedge between the natural and the 3rd, and then never letting the Protoss get a 4th after that as well. It's just so good for Zergs to play like that. You can even be hyper-aggressive as well. You can do really fast Spire builds on this map and overrun. There's so many options for the Zerg, but it does kind of play into Dewalt's hands, like you were saying. It might be wise for cRoSs to avoid going for his tried and true style with that Battle Zerg, and instead doing what he did in game number 1 and going for pure macro mode again.
Yeah, saw a bit of a deep breath here from cRoSs when he got first scouted again. Definitely getting under his skin just a little bit. And he's going to be super annoyed when he finds out this was a cross spawn first scout.
Yeah. That's obviously just to tell Dewalt, like, is the Zerg close spawns or not? So he can kind of, you know, metagame when he's actually making these cannons and what have you. And, yeah, this is a little bit annoying. Like, every Zerg has felt that feeling when you get, like, first scouted over and over again by a Protoss. It's like one of the worst feelings, man. I imagine it's similar to the feeling of when you're playing Terran versus Protoss and it's cross map 12 Nexus. It kind of does feel like a bit of a sting like that.
Man, Dewalt is getting away with murder. This is such a smart response and read from Dewalt, right? He saw that it was just 2 lings that were made, even though they finished before his forge was done, which is typically scary because you want to be starting your cannon before the lings are on the way. But because it was 2 lings and they stuck to the probe, he actually made the gateway first before making the forge and continue probe. So this is pretty much the perfect opener that Dewalt could hope for.
Yeah, it's about as greedy as you can get without being suicidal, right? Like, this is really optimized for Dewalt, and that's why he's going for this cross-map scout to see if he can even get away with something like this right off the bat. At least cRoSs didn't get his hatcheries delayed in this game as well. Like, he got his natural and his 3rd down at a reasonable time. So he's got that going for him, but yeah, he needs to now stop this probe from getting too much more information. He's got the 4 lings to do it, but he doesn't want to commit all 4 lings to the catch of the probe until it's already low HP. He's done that now, so he can maybe hunt down this probe more proactively, but needs to be careful the probe doesn't give him the slip and get around.
Yeah, Dewalt's done such a good job in pretty much all the games with these 2 guys. Just that probe seems to always find its way into the base. And getting the information, but it's actually getting quite low this time, just 2 taps away now at this point, but it has got past the lings. With proper move command, you can still chase us down, maybe get a drone to body block as well on the ramp here.
Yeah, he's got a drone he can do that with. Oh, he does manage to get that off. So Dewalt not going to be getting into the main with that probe, which is actually a pretty big deal. Doesn't know if there's a lair on the way right now. and that's a big tell. So he's definitely going to have to commit to, going into his usual tech with the Stargate and get the confirmation scout with that. Wait, did he start the Citadel before the Stargate?
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, this is a little bit spicy from Dewalt. Kind of mixing up his tech pattern ever so slightly here.
Yeah, Zelly going to come into the 3 o'clock position, but cRoSs's links are going to be in position already. So he's going to be able to push that back pretty nicely before it gets to tuck behind minerals and get a good trade like it has been. And being able to catch the Zealot and see with our Overlord that no more Zealots are coming is actually pretty nice for cRoSs. As long as he doesn't let Dewalt kind of micro him down like that. That was pretty much 2 free hits from that Zealot.
Yeah, I wonder if Dewalt is going to do like an almost mini-esque build this game around and, kind of catch cRoSs off guard with a slightly faster leg enhancements timing that he's not accounting for. It's really nice that he's picking off that first Zealot, but another one does slip by, making its way to the 3rd base location, and there's not really much that can do with that. Sorry.
Okay. Because I was just the lings are coming, so I was kind of wondering what was at the front there. But yeah, this Zealot gonna be sneaking behind here, kind of under the radar, gonna be a nuisance here for cRoSs because these lings are gonna have to come back. So this will deny and interrupt the mining quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to kill the drones, but just denying mining is so painful for Zerg. You kind of have to snowball your economy as Zerg, and if you're denied that in any way, shape, or form, you just don't explode in that mid-game transition as much as you should. And he's going to trade pretty cost-efficiently with that Zealot behind the minerals as well. Let's see what Dewalt wants to do with the follow-up, because he's got slightly earlier tech timings this time around than he would usually. He's gotten away with a pretty greedy optimized build, and denying mining time at the 3rd as well creates some problems for cRoSs to navigate.
Yeah, the Corsair is going to show up here. It is a little bit behind the Spire timing, so there was a chance that these Scourge are going to pop out. I don't know if maybe we're misjudging the timing here, and we're actually not paying attention. So that Corsair going down immediately is actually really bad for Dewalt. We do have a DT coming across the map, though, and I don't think we had an Overlord at the 3rd base, did we?
Oh, geez. There's nothing to stop this DT just walking into the mineral line and killing drones, man. Oh, geez. I think this is what's so clever about Dewalt's play. He got a much earlier Citadel than usual, so cRoSs wasn't even accounting for this DT timing, right? Like, he didn't even think this was a possibility, and that's why he's unprepared for it.
That's so many drone kills already. That's 6 drones, 7 drones gonna go down. Maybe even gonna find an 8th before it goes down. It is... Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a lot of drone kills.
This was a really spicy build from Dewalt, because you can kind of do like a few different things with that early Citadel, and he did the most cost-efficient thing. He didn't even make many gateways, literally just a very fast DT timing before going into his usual temple attack, and cRoSs was not ready for it at all, man. That is... I love that Dewalt's mixing up his play like this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the DT was faster, right? It gets a bunch of damage, but because the Stargate was slower, it's like he didn't judge for the
Scourge, yeah.
the Scourge dumbing. So, but obviously the damage that he gets out of this DT is worth way more than losing that Corsair.
And Dewalt's optimizing in case it's, a Mutaplace play. He's got, quite a lot of cannons in his mineral lines. He's even got a Dark Archon finishing up. Maybe if cRoSs just doesn't make Mutalisks, that's one way he can stabilize the scales of power in this game, because there's a lot of investment from Dewalt to deflect Mutalisks, and cRoSs has elected to go for Mutas pretty often in his games against Dewalt. So if this is the one game where he decides to never make a single Mutalisk, it actually might help him, right?
Yeah, he's made... That's a good point, is he's made so many cannons. It actually mitigates a lot of the advantage that he had, right? Putting 3 cannons around his main. It's almost, I'd almost call it scarring from their last game here on Metropolis.
He just studied that replay and was like, how do I stop this from ever happening to me again? Oh, I'm just going to make a bunch of cannons in the Dark Archon. Okay.
I like this quick 4th base from cRoSs. I think he understands he's a little bit behind and he can't really try to play a normal kind of battle style from here. And it does look like that's what he's going for again, right? We're seeing on that layer tech.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's trying to secure his eco a bit faster this time so he doesn't find himself once again trapped on 3 base versus 3 base.
I mean, And yeah, with the cannon thing, like it's really slowed down Dewalt's gateways, man. Like he's just now at 9 minutes adding on his, additional gateways. So this might help out cRoSs just enough to turn this into a better and better game. He's got this 4th base in the top right, but there are some zealots making their way downtown to try and disrupt that. But cRoSs has identified it. He's got a few units moving over there to maybe help defend. Not quite enough to completely crush this. There's I think a 4th zealot about to show up as well. But it's nice that he's trying to intercept this at all, because that'll help the more additional Hydras get over here to help out. And he might be able to barely save this hatchery, but there's already damage being dealt to it.
Yeah, a few extra Hydras going to join here to try and deflect this, but yeah, these 2 Zealots are going to block the ramp and kind of slow down the progression because of the Bishops coming up the ramp, right? And I think that's actually going to be enough time for him to snipe this hatchery. So any advantage that cRoSs thought he, or maybe was going for with this faster 4th base is going to get shut down by Dewalt. So great job identifying and kind of snuffing that out immediately.
Yeah, that's really well played from Dewalt, man. He had just the bare minimal enough to guarantee getting the job done, and that certainly makes up for the fact that he's been so defensive with the cannons. cRoSs's now going to still be in the same hard place he was a few moments ago. He can't really stay lair-based style without a 4th base. He's going to have to take 12 o'clock instead. But Dewalt's going to be getting his 3rd base up before that 4th base has even started. So this game is looking a little bit Dewalt favored at the time being.
Yeah, I'm wondering if these Hydras actually just go straight to 3 o'clock now to try to deny this. He sees it with that lane kind of hidden inside the minerals, and I don't know if Dewalt knows that it's there.
Yeah, he could. He's also got the Scourge running around, keeping track of where the Zealots are moving to. He's tried to come back up here into the top right to expand again, but it's being denied. I thought he was going to take the 12 o'clock to mitigate this, but he elected to rotate the drone over. At least he has Lurkers now, and so far we've seen just Zealots from Dewalt, so maybe there's a chance for him getting on top of this base with Lurkers as well as some of those Hydras. He's got a few Storms, but if he keeps spreading out the Lurkers, this could still go okay for cRoSs. He might get an okay trade.
Yeah, does manage to clean up these Lurkers on the high ground. He's going to stop cRoSs from coming up this ramp. We even see the Maelstrom Storm combo here getting pretty decent value. And man, these Zealots that were in the top right corner distracted cRoSs for so long, running around there and just being super annoying and picking off like stray Hydras as he pulled them apart.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how just a couple of Protoss units can get that much damage done, but cRoSs has found a way of getting into Hive already. Now he just needs to get this 4th base. Oh, the drone! Don't let the Zealot kill the drone. Okay, he actually does keep that alive. This game is not terrible for cRoSs. He does have a Hive. He can kind of switch up his style a little bit, play more turtle-centric, and try and rush into those defilers and make Lurkers on the top right base. He can keep egg blocking the ramp as well to stop Dewalt just coming up and killing that 4th base for free. And if Dewalt does move out, he can then counterattack the 3rd base as well. There's definitely options. Even that Zergling killing a probe over here. Dewalt just didn't know about it.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. That thing was so well hidden, man. It had like one antenna sticking up her foot or whatever that is.
It's a ninjaling, man. This is sneaky from cRoSs, actually. Maybe thinking about double expanding to both corners of the map. Dewalt might actually not identify that. He's got his army moving down to the 6 o'clock position right now. cRoSs's actually going to intercept that a little bit. He's got the Scourge spotting it, so he's going to run back these lings. Does Dewalt somehow smell that there's a base down here? It's kind of weird that he moved his army to that 6 o'clock position.
Yeah, I think he was just moving it down there to make sure the area was clear so he can take that as his 4th base, because he is reaching that stage where he needs to double expand.
Okay, yeah, it does seem like that's the case. It's a shame, man. If cRoSs just got this 4th base online, this would look pretty good for him. He could make the Hydra here on the ramp into an egg to really sandbag Dewalt from getting up here, but he actually doesn't do that. He's got a little bit of a link counterattack at the 3rd base of Dewalt, though. I don't see a High Templar, just a couple of cannons and some Zealots. There's more units making their way to defend that now. It's a shame that cRoSs can't get up that ramp with those lings to get us around on those Zealots, or this counterattack might have been way successful. These ramps are deceptively small with the mineral block in the way, so it's actually really hard to get in there.
Yeah, pretty perfectly defended actually from Dewalt with kind of the bare minimum, and he is actually going to find this hatchery in the bottom left and kill that off as well. So cRoSs does have the 4th base in the top right corner finished, but there's nothing mining there yet, so he doesn't have anything coming out of it. So we're at that stage of the game where cRoSs is going to be mining his 4th about the same time as the Protoss
Front-facing
player,
data
which
chick, front-facing data
it's
chick,
not
front-facing
ideal
data chick,
for Zerg.
front-facing data chick, front-facing data chick,
He's
front-facing
catching maybe
data
a few
chick.
cRoSs here. It's not terrible, but losing cRoSs at this point of the game probably won't add up to much. He's actually not even going to get them. The Scourger's going to die to the cannons. I guess cRoSs has got the 4th base finally finished up. He's trying to take a 5th. If he can just get out Defilers and defend up with these 5 bases, maybe there's a chance, but the fact that he has almost no answers to the 4th base of Dewalt does smell a bit disastrous. Like the main win condition on maps like this is just never letting the Protoss take a 4th, and he's got no chance of shutting that down right now.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to set up for a bit of a lean run by there at the 4th base, but he ran into Dewalt's army here at the bottom of the ramp, and Storm's going to come down and kill those eggs before they finish morphing the lurkers, and there's actually no lurkers in range of the ramp right now, so Dewalt's trading super efficiently coming up this ramp.
Yeah, this is like a skirmish wet dream for Protoss right now. He doesn't even have to kill cRoSs, just keep bleeding off units. There's a counterattack making its way to the 6 o'clock with a bunch of links, but there's 2 Templars here with Zealots and Cannons finishing up, so this is going to do next to nothing. Dewalt is just like an iron curtain again, not letting anything happen to him back at home while trading so super efficiently in the front lines as well. cRoSs going to be in a lot of trouble soon. Okay, finally we have a Divider out. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope here for cRoSs. Start getting some Dark Swarms down and nullifying these Dragoons, holding these positions, getting this 5th base mining. There's definitely a chance.
Yeah, if he can hold on, stabilize a bit, like there's no additional tech yet from Dewalt, right? He is max, so his army's not going to get stronger, if you want to try to look at it as a positive.
That's some toxic positivity there, if I ever heard any. Yeah, but I mean, the main play now is just, get the Dark Swarm to shut down the Protoss advance and skirmishing, and then get Plague. Once you've got Plague, you just keep chaining Plague on that Protoss army over and over again. Eventually turn the trades around where you're the guy that's like taking every fight favorably. But Dewalt's already planning ahead. He's taking his 5th base in that bottom left. He's going to start splitting the map effectively and setting up for a possible super late game. He's even getting Arbiters. RC, wow. This is insane. He could do stasis play, or he could actually do recalls. Recalls is actually a really underrated thing in PvZ, especially when you're ahead. It's a great win more button to kill bases.
Yeah, it's super strong, especially if you get a bunch of reavers with those recalls. It's something that people hate on recalls PvZ, but I think it's legitimately good, and I'm glad to see that Dewalt agrees with me.
It's good when you're ahead, right? You don't want to do it when you're behind, but if you're in a good position, it's certainly a great way of establishing a win condition. This is painful, man. He's just set up a kill box for these units that are streaming up the ramp, and he's absolutely eviscerating cRoSs. It's a big mistake that he didn't have the Defilers and Lurkers already in position on this high ground. He was having to stream in the units from his rally point. There's even a Defiler out of position, gonna get feedbacked as well. Oh my god, so many Defilers are dying to feedback right now. Dewalt is playing like a machine.
Yeah, Dewalt can do no wrong right now. Beautiful feedback on these Defiler walking forward to try and get those plagues that cRoSs desperately needs.
The top right, the top right.
Yeah,
I think there's a recall in the top right.
Yeah.
Ooh, you hardly ever see it. He can just snipe down the Nidus Canal and storm everything that tries to get on top of these units. Really well played from Dewalt. cRoSs might be able to clean this up, but no matter what happens, Dewalt is going to trade pretty efficiently, as well as killing a bunch of drones. And now that he's cut off the connection of this Nidus Canal, it's going to make it so hard to defend this northeastern quadrant on the map, man. This attack is super successful.
Oh yeah.
This is crazy from Dewalt, man.
Yeah, Dewalt's playing so well right now. He has been attacking and leading on cRoSs nonstop, trading insanely efficiently the whole game, and then also getting these recalls off while growing on the map. He's got up to 5 bases, he's securing that bottom left corner. And we were talking about how it's hard to get into 4th base, but Dewalt's tempo, his ability to fight and just hold on to tempo is so good.
Yeah, he's just not giving any oxygen for cRoSs to breathe in this game. And now he's at risk of losing this other base in the top right as well. He's still trying to stream up units to fight against that recall while the Zealots are going to town. on the low ground. This is really painful, man. He's even got some anti-drop set up in the bottom left on the boot-shaped main bases. He's got cannons and a gateway up there to the top of that bottom left base, just in case cRoSs did any kind of doom drop down there.
Yeah, cRoSs actually breaking through this position, but there's DT here, and we don't have any detection, so eventually this DT does clean up, reinforcing Zealots as well. We got a couple lurkers here under the swarm. Actually, there's no observer here, so I guess they will get a lot of damage onto these Zealots, and, you know, cRoSs actually is going to break and kill this base. The problem is he's going to lose his other base, and he's just going to be back down to 3 bases total, and he should be about mined out on all 3 of those.
Yeah, I mean, cRoSs kind of has to kill this base in the bottom left just to not be super behind, right? This doesn't win him the game. This just stops him from losing the game at this point, because Dewalt's already got these other 2 mining bases elsewhere. And cRoSs's only just now sending drones to mine at 12 o'clock. There is definitely a chance for cRoSs to win this game, but I think it's going to take him a long way to claw back completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty rough. Protoss is going to be on 2 base mining versus the 1 base mining of Zerg, and we actually have another recall going to the main. And
look at all those Archons!
This is one of those things where it's like you see the Arbiter. So in TVP, when you see the Arbiter, you don't give them the satisfaction of the recall. You call GG before it goes low.
I guess he could have done that this time. All the lings are glitching out. They can't even get into the main base to die even. There's a nice counterattack here though from cRoSs. He is going to kill this base at the 6 o'clock, but he's going to lose a lot of his tech in the main base gradually here. Lost the spawning pool already. Both of the Evos are exposed. So is the Spire and the Defiler Mound critically. If he loses the Hive, it's pretty much over unless he remakes all of the tech. But I don't know, man. I mean, Dewalt is only on 1 mining base right now with a couple of mineral patches not quite done in the main, but I don't think this is enough for cRoSs, man. It's a great way of trying to claw your way back into the game, but it's certainly not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, cRoSs did a good job killing the eco, right, of Dewalt and kind of stabilizing or evening out that part of the game, but the issue is that he doesn't have a way of dealing with Dewalt's standing army, right? This army is massive, and the composition is, it's so hard for cRoSs to deal with. It's so Archon heavy, and we only have lings.
It's like in Protoss vs. Terran, where you you always circumnavigate the Terran's army and avoid direct engagements, but you very slowly will lose the game no matter what. Even stasising the Scourge as well. Is that a stasis lava? What is that? That was a ling. Oh, it is a lava. He's not letting him macro at all, man.
That's one way to save an Arbiter. I love that. The P Scourge just staring it down in the face, and he's like, no.
Yeah. Well, you rarely get to see Arbiter in PvZ, but it's a real treat when you do. You don't usually make them because it's something you can only really get away with when you're already ahead in the game, but Dewalt has played so flawlessly in this game that he was able to get away with it, man. He's going to go out with style. He's not going to win the series just yet. He's going to be on match point after this game, but man, Dewalt, game number 1, cRoSs looked insane, and then Dewalt just basically went into hold my beer mode. Yeah,
it's Dewalt's looked pretty much unstoppable since that first game, which, you know, it is what it is. I mean, cRoSs, it looked like he tried to go a little bit more back into what he did in that first game, this game, making sure to get into that hive tech and not be as aggressive. But the problem was just Dewalt had already got such big leads from the fights and skirmishes, and denying that 4th base over and over again, and making cRoSs fight so hard to get it back. Got another Arbiter here going towards the 12 o'clock spawn, potentially. Now, a recall onto 12 is potentially a win condition for cRoSs. Obviously, I'm joking
all the
about
lurkers.
supply, but...
Oh, it's not the most massive of recalls, but it does help him flank these lurkers and clean them up cost efficiently. That's probably going to be the tap out moment from cRoSs. There's the GG, rubbing the back of his neck as Dewalt goes up 4-1 in this series on match point now.
Yeah, once again, Dewalt kind of back to his Iron Fortress looking ways. We saw a lot of attempted counterattacks from cRoSs, but Dewalt just did not look vulnerable anywhere on the map. We tried 3 o'clock, we tried 6 o'clock, but he just always had enough units and a proper setup to deflect these counterattacks pretty much until the end of the game. But by then, Dewalt was killing so much of cRoSs, it just didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, honestly, that was kind of sick, man. I'm glad that Dewalt is mixing it up. I really loved the early Citadel into fast DT play. Like, cRoSs just wasn't expecting a DT killing its drones at like 6 minutes 20 or whenever it was. That was just insanity. I love that Dewalt is adding more variety to his game. That's like his biggest weakness, self-admitted. So if he can start doing stuff like that more and obfuscate, you know, his usual like macro mode, I think he's going to be an even more fearsome competitor. I don't even know how anyone in the foreigner scene is going to be able to beat him if he can keep playing like that.
Yeah, cRoSs has got his work cut out for him, but it looks like we're going to take a bit of a short break here so we can refresh our water, maybe get some snacks and stuff while we continue through this series, guys.
Okay, guys, welcome. This is Zero. I will take this short break to let you know, guys, that we have the continuation of BSL21. Like just as I announced at the beginning of the year, that's what we are planning to do every season, which is making BSL21. And after BSL21, we invite top 4 players from BSL21 and top 4 players from China to participate in the clash called Non-Korean Championships, and it's going to start next weekend. It's going to last for 3 weekends, 6 cast days. First 4 will be the group stage, best of 2, everyone versus everyone. Dewalt, cRoSs, who got replaced by Bo9, and Zerg and Ziki. So Dewalt, Bo9, Zerg, and Ziki. cRoSs can't play, unfortunately, and Bo9 and Striker were the same place. Striker can't play, so Bo9 jumped in. So I guess there is a lot of people who will be happy to see Bo9 back. And from China, we have Mihu, Dugu, Xuan, and Xiao Gege. So very nice representation. Group stage will be best of 2. We will have 7 best of 2s. So 14 games a cast day for the group stage. Everyone versus everyone. The maps are already pre-selected. I figured that it might be interesting to have every map. It's every map set and similar amount of times. So I randomly selected the first and second map for every player. So I think it's going to be interesting thanks to that. More interesting thanks to that. And just as in previous season. We will have the group stage, the bracket stage being live starting at 4 p.m. So it's going to be a little bit better time for the Chinese competitors. So on Saturday we're gonna have 4 best of 5s, and on Sunday we're gonna have another 3 best of 5s and grand finals. But it will depend if it's going to be best of 5 or best of 7, because it's going to be 1-0 advantage for the winner bracket competitors. So from the group stage, players will advance. Winner with top 1 will advance to the winner bracket. Top 2 will advance to the semifinals of winner bracket, and so on. So that's the event we are planning ahead. And we already have players scheduling the matches. Some of the players already played some matches. So I hope you will be happy. If there are some of you who didn't see, who was sad that he didn't see Chinese players in BSL, this is the event to make up for it. And it's always exciting. This is going to be the highest level, nice race distribution, and I am happy that we will have that coming. So yeah, guys, I think okay, maybe I have another minute. Maybe there is a lot of you sneaky bastards who are going and leaving when we are thanking to our sponsors and Patreons. So actually today and right now we're gonna thank to our sponsors right now because we have additional minutes. So huge thanks to BSL21 goal supporters, everyone who donated last season to the goal. Is listed over here, and thanks to them we have another season. Mr. Siervauti, Mr. jziriy, Mr. Striker, and Mr. Anonymous, Mr. Tanger, Mr. Dragon, Mr. Chaosu, Mr. Lemel, everyone who donated, they gave the brick to BSL21 to happen, and thanks to them we have this season. We are watching those finals today. And of course, huge thanks to our Patreon supporters, Mr. Andrew with $200 a month, Mr. My Feeding Dream with $100 a month, Mr. Striker with $50 a month, Mr. Torso Driver Michalaj with $30 a month, and Mr. Chaosu, KJ, LML, Madinho, Nicolas Schuller, Skimming Gypsy, Steven Robertson, and Tom with $20 a month. So thank you very much, guys. You are really supporting BSL and keeping the lights on over here. And thanks to the support, we are able to continue with the additional events. And yeah, I will go back to the break, check out with the casters if they're ready, and we will be back with the finals. So thank you very much, guys. Much love.
Welcome back to the Bombastic StarLeague Season 21 Grand Finals. Dewalt versus cRoSs. Really well played from Dewalt recently, man. He's 4-1 up in this series. cRoSs is going to have to do the best reverse sweep we've ever seen in the BSL to make it out of this Grand Finals in one piece, it seems. Do you have any hope that he can do it, Ozzy?
Do you want my professional answer or?
You're not a professional, so give me the honest, raw dog answer. Come on.
All right, that is what I'm here for. My hope in costly winning the series at this point is like sub 1%. I still, well, my hope is high. My expectation is
okay.
is sub 1%.
Maybe that's the key to happiness, though, right? Low expectations, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's why the first game hit me so hard, because it was like I was kind of expecting cRoSs to come in and get swept, and when I saw that first game and by how well he played that game and by how much he won that game, that's why I was getting hitting me and I was getting chills. I was like, dude, cRoSs might crush Dewalt today, but
it's possible, yeah. The way I felt watching that game number one, I was like, oh my god, has cRoSs just like completely reinvented his style, and he's got stuff prepared for Dewalt that he was kind of like keeping like under his sleeve and just like revealing it in the last apex moment, and he's going to start crushing Dewalt with like late game hive tech, hive style over and over again, and Dewalt just can't get through the mid game against him anymore. It did seem like that was going to be a possibility, but then cRoSs kind of went back to his roots with the battle Zerg and kind of played into Dewalt's hands, and the game on Dominator was really poor as well. Like, he showed all of his links to the probe scout. Dewalt knew that there was no lair, and he kind of just whiffed with the Hydra bust, and I feel like he's fallen apart a little bit mentally from that point onwards, just because of how badly executed the Hydra bust was. I hope he can somehow claw it back mentally and perform better from this point onwards, but I haven't seen convincing play from him from that point onwards.
Yeah, it hasn't looked good for him since then, honestly. Like, there's been some moments where, you know, it looked playable or decent for him, but that first game, it just looked like he was in total control the whole time. And, you know, what it says to me is, regardless of the results here, I still stand by what I said at the beginning, where I feel like if cRoSs really went full time and he got to where that was his consistent level, which I think is absolutely doable if he practiced enough, then he could easily be a top foreigner Zerg. Like, he's already one of the top. When I say top, I mean like #1.
Tippy top, yeah. Well, I completely agree with you. If he was playing as much as Dewalt does, it's possible that he'll be able to like be a coin flip to who's gonna win the finals or not, where it's like you don't even consider Dewalt a favorite anymore, right? Like if he's playing that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But, you know, he has had his moments of brilliance, so I think it is going to be doable. It looks like our players are ready, so we're going to hop into this game here. Going to be on Litmus, cRoSs versus Dewalt.
Spawning in the top right, on Zerg, representing Canada. Gonna have to dig deep to win this series now, though. cRoSs.
And his opponent currently on match point, enjoying a nice lead here comfortably. We got Dewalt spawning here as our blue Protoss.
And this is a great map for Protoss, right? With the double gas in the main. It's just, you could just stay on 2 base and not feel bad about it as Protoss.
Yeah, I still haven't seen a lot of ZVP on this map, and I'm kind of curious what's happening at the higher level, like how Zerg wants to approach this map, but...
Zerg are pretty hyper-aggressive on this map and try and kill the Protoss right at the start of the game, with like Ling run-bys and lots of aggression, usually.
That's what I would have guessed, because you can't easily go into a hard game on this map, and trying to play layer style against Protoss on this map is also just a huge deficit for Zerg, I think, so... And we actually saw it the last time these guys played, how strong that mid-game timing was from Dewalt. He had so many goons and Templars so early for his push, and that's what makes it so strong, this map.
Well, we expect a Forge fast expand from Dewalt, but it's a 2-player map, so there's a chance he'll mix it up, but I think it's not going to be that. It's just going to be a Forge. He's just that kind of guy. We've seen him mix it in like one time out of 10 or so games, maybe even more than that, but he almost never goes gateway expand. We saw it once against cRoSs. I thought he might do it just because he's 4-1 up in the series. He might mix it up, and it's a 2-player map, so it's not terrible. But yeah, he's not even going to do that here.
Yeah, I was actually with you on that one. I actually thought we would see gateway expand because he did it in the last game as well when he got the match point in their last series. So
yeah,
I thought maybe we'd continue that pattern just to get maybe go for it and go for a feel for it. But that being said, because his map is so favored for him going into mid-game, it wouldn't make sense if he just decided not to do it for this map specifically because it's so favored for that goon Templars moving.
And cRoSs's going full gas, man. Like, he's teching. Like, he's got, a little bit of a tricksy gambit going into this game. I think he's still going to expand, but he wants to be maybe a bit hyper-aggressive. He might even consider cheesing. He's actually going to come back and meet the probe on the ramp, which is not that great because the probe could almost win that 1v1, but it seems like cRoSs might be able to get this hatchery down just in time before the probe block, and he indeed does do that. I wonder what the plan is going to be here from cRoSs. Is this going to be a really super fast spire, just really quick speedlings to put on pressure? Is this going to be a fast lurker play? Like, there's so many shenanigans you can do on Litmus because of that like back alley entrance where you can glitch things over.
Yeah, we started speed and we're taking off gas completely now at this point. He was still mining gas, so I thought maybe there'd be a layer or something behind it, but maybe it was a bit of a mistake actually.
Well, usually when I've seen Zergs do this, it's for a mine game where they're kind of like faking some shenanigans, but really it's just for link speed to deny scouting, and then they're gonna kind of play a little bit normal afterwards. I think he's gonna play a pretty traditional 3-hatch style after the fact. He just kind of... Oh, he's got the drone coming down. Is he going to try and glitch lings behind the back?
He tried it last time and he wasn't doing it very well. Okay, so I was going to say he showed the drone. That's the part that I was confused about, but he's showing it as a fake. So he fake showed the drone to make Dewalt afraid of the hop, but then he's actually just going to take a third.
But I don't know if it matters too much because you can kind of just like check the back with a probe and you don't really have to do anything besides just check for it. We'll see. But yeah, I was pretty convinced this was going to be either a Ling play or like a fake cheese into a more standard game. He has made quite a lot of Zerglings. It is very common on this map to try and overrun the Protoss with just tons of Lings. And he's kind of faking out that he's setting up the Lings to glitch over, but he definitely isn't going to try and do anything like that.
The thing about it is Dewalt didn't really bite very much either, though. He made one extra cannon, and just continue as normal, right? There's no like big reaction from Dewalt. He didn't make like a safety cannon as main or something, and now we see the Hydrodon coming down. So yeah, it was like a bit of a fake aggression, kind of like you said, but Dewalt really did the bare minimum on reaction.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about, because you don't actually have to do a lot to respond to something like this. You can still be pretty optimized with the bare minimum, just an extra cannon and a probe on sentry duty to keep an eye on the back entrance, and he's going to be fine. He almost would have been better off just going all in Ling and trying to run it down, honestly.
Yeah. Yo, big donation here from Tangard. We got a 200, what is it, euros, right? From
Yeah,
Tangard,
200 euros.
so yeah, thank you so much for that donation. That's huge.
Thank you so much for your support, man. We really do appreciate it. We're almost halfway on our donation goal, I think, something like that. Zero, maybe you can confirm. But yeah, big shout out to all of you guys that are supporting. We need to keep more and more seasons of BSL ticking by so we can keep bringing you these great games.
Yeah, I'm excited to be the next BSL champion. I was really hoping we get 22 funded, because this is gonna be my season for sure.
I would love to see it, Ozzy. You're not a bad player. Just need to put in some more effort. You'll be alright. No, doesn't actually get the Overlord kill, so he forces the Dragoon but doesn't get the kill. But I mean, the Corsair will finish off the Overlord since it's super low, but you can kind of optimize for that. You know the Overlord's going to die, so you can kind of replace it ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have those Hydras coming across. I almost wonder if I could have maybe talked to Cropsy about using Lings to kill the temples in the back, because if you just, even if you're not gonna do it, if you just show it, you're gonna force him to build a cannon or something in response to prevent you from killing it, or he has to build multiple cannons on the ramp or something to defend, right? But I don't know if he would think that's a good idea or not. But we're just gonna go for kind of a head on 973. The Overlord gonna go down here at the front, which is actually gonna supply block Cropsy, and okay, we almost lost one Hydra immediately.
He actually didn't preempt the replacement Overlord. Like, he had an Overlord finishing up to replace it, but not the other Overlord to open up the supply yet again. So he is still stuck, which is unfortunate, because you should make 2 Overlords to replace that pretty quickly when you know it's about to die. He's going to put on some pressure, but because there's a little bit of a gap in the production of the Zerg, it gives so much more leeway to the Protoss to optimize when they build their cannons and how many.
Yeah, Dewalt saw drones popping there, so he canceled that extra cannon on the right side there, so he's just going to stop at 4 cannons. So, again, a pretty minimal response from Dewalt, honestly. His responses have been pretty much exactly as much as you should be doing to get by.
Yeah, he's like doing cartwheels along the tightrope right now. It's kind of insane that he's willing to like cut it so close, and that's like StarCraft 101, right? You don't just want to survive, you want to thrive in the next stage of the game, so you want to always make the bare minimum if you can.
Yeah, and we already had that one forge upgrading as well on the backside. We didn't finish any of the upgrades, right? So I think Protoss is still 0-0. Yeah, okay. So at least Cropsy has that going for him.
Yeah, it's something. But because of the early game shenanigans with like mining the gas really early, he is a little bit suboptimal in his production, no matter what happens. So as long as Dewalt hits his timings well, Crossy will still have a little bit of a hard time. But you know, every game's winnable as long as you're not super far behind. So he's going to go into 6-hatch Hydra and hope for the best here. It's not a bad map for Zerg, but with access to the 3rd gas early, it's super annoying. The Protoss can have such an optimal unit composition. Like, they can make so many Dragoons and Templars is insane. It's a shame he's not getting the DT out, because the DT scout and pressure would be great right now.
Yeah, this is really tricky DT hop here, and he is going to get on the 2nd try, so that's pretty nice. The Ling is going to come down here, but the question is, does Cropsy see it? And no, he does not look at it.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's a shame. Go on.
It's just very hard to spot that, right? Like, it's without it being there ahead of time to see the probe moving around, you're not going to see anything on the mini-map to indicate that there's anything to look at, right? So it's going to be very, very hard to spot that out. But he does at least have those Overlords in position already, and he's positioning to maybe take this 4th base pretty early.
Yeah, he's going to go for more of a Battle Zerg-centric style yet again, and it's not that bad on this map, but it's nowhere near as good as some of the other maps we've had, like Metropolis. It's actually going to be a lot harder to get value out of this, especially against the 3 gas. Oh no, he's ran past the Hydras and he's killing drones for free. This is devastating. He's not even going to notice. There's no sound cues or anything. Oh my gosh, he lost so many drones, man. 6 drones dead in the water, unfortunately.
Yeah, what a shame, because he saw it and even got a bunch of damage on it earlier, but it just kind of like snuck around and came back in, and cRoSs just didn't notice. So a lot of drone damage, and it's even going to deny this hatchery as well.
No.
So once again, these DTs from Dewalt just seem to always get so much value against cRoSs.
Yeah, if Overlord Speed was just now finishing, he could save that hatchery, but I don't think it is finishing up anytime soon, so he'll actually probably cancel that hatchery at this rate. That's a shame, man. Yeah, I'm not liking cRoSs's chances, Ozzy. I'm just gonna call it how I'm gonna be unprofessional and just be like you and call it how I see it completely, man. This is not good for cRoSs. He's on a very low win percentage in this game. He has got some lurkers out to help deflect the Zealot totem, but he's actually just gonna run past the lurkers where they can borrow. He can lurk up egg block the ramp though. That's going to kind of save the day, but he's still going to lose drones and mining time in the natural expansion regardless.
Yeah, and while this is happening, Dewalt's on his 3 gases, so we're going to see a lot of Templar being made behind this. A lot of drones being targeted down as well. That's like 4 or 5 drones, I think. We're even targeting our own Overlord on accident as cRoSs. This is the second time this series we've seen him hitting his own stuff.
I don't know if he's just a little bit flustered or just, you know, not feeling super comfortable right now. He is a for-fun gamer, but he's definitely not having that much fun right this second. This is a really painful game for him going forward. He has got a fighting chance still. It's not like it's over, but not having a 4th base and being relegated to Battle Zerg mode against a 3-gas Protoss on 2 base, you're gonna have a bad time, Ozzy.
Yeah, and he's supply blocked. He can't keep making units. Somehow he lost an Overlord just a minute ago, so gonna stunt his production there for a few seconds. But Dewalt's gonna come over here and start working towards his 3rd base, and like I said, I mean, he's mining on 3 gas. We're not getting that 4th hatchery restarted here for cRoSs either. He's just pumping a lot of units, and it seems like he might just be looking to kind of go for it. Okay, he is gonna drop that hatchery now. Yeah,
well, he's worried about just dying if he doesn't make non-stop units, right? He's finally got that hatchery. Is he gonna... Okay, he's going to try and wrap around the back of the army. If he catches all the High Templars and Dewalt's not paying attention, that would be something. He's actually not going for it. He's just like poking at the rally point. So no High Templar snipes, which means this is going to be a lot of maximum trade value here for Dewalt. There are some lurkers that are hatching at the 3rd base location, trying to make their way over. Surging forward with some Hydras, takes out the Observer to try and sandbag this advance. There's another Observer making its way downtown. All those lurkers are stacked up, man. This is the same problem Terran players have. Just everything's bunched up and they die to the storm so easy.
Yeah, and this is the army composition we were talking about. The same thing that we saw last time they played on this map, right? It's just so goon heavy with a bunch of Templars. Yeah. The 3rd base regulars get denied, but it doesn't really matter if cRoSs is going to be dying on the other side.
Yeah, and Dewalt usually goes a little bit light on his Dragoons. Like, he tends to like make a tiny bit more Zealots than some Protoss players do. But when you've got access to 3 gas, he can make tons of Dragoons as well as plenty of Templar. Wrap around from cRoSs here, trying to see if he can get some snipes on the Dragoons and the High Templars up behind, but those blankets of Psionic Storm ripping through the Hydras like they're made out of paper mache. And he can start laying siege to the Zerg's position. Now that he's driven a wedge between the natural and the 3rd, he can start assaulting the units as they're popping out of eggs, and you're never going to reach any form of critical mass to defend against this. GG is called, and Dewalt is your Bombastic StarLeague Season 21 champion, winning 5 games to 1 over cRoSs.
Yeah, I mean, Dewalt just doing Dewalt things, man. The guy's super good. He was not phased at all by this first game. He looked completely untouchable for the rest of the series after that. And yeah, gonna take a 5-1 win over here, cRoSs. cRoSs at least can be happy with taking off 2 wins overall, but I doubt cRoSs is going to be super happy. Yeah, he says he's a for-fun gamer and a casual gamer, but he's still a competitor, and you could see it on his face. He was not happy with how the series went.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't enjoying those games. It's a shame, man. He looks so good in game number 1. I really want to know what happened. Like, I wish he leaned into that style a little bit more and didn't rely so heavily on the Battle Zerg style. and just batten down the hatches a bit more about Dewalt, shutting him down defensively in the mid game and stretching out the games a little bit longer. But yeah, it's a shame. Like, he didn't even get to create the same kind of chaos on Metropolis that he did in that first series to squeeze out a win either. And if he'd gone super deep in the series and won a few more games, we were very close to getting maps like Screaming Sea as well, which are very Zerg favored. And Dewalt's no Bonif. He can't really exploit that map to his heart's content. So would have been a good opportunity for cRoSs to be able to maybe, you know, tie up the series and close it out in the final game on Radiant. But as it stands, man, gotta take your hat off to Dewalt. He's just so darn good at what he does.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, he deserved this championship. He pretty much crushed all of BSL, right? His only losses being to cRoSs, like I mentioned earlier, and I don't know, like his PVZ, right? It's just when I think of Dewalt, I do think of a PVZ specialist. He probably does also feel the same about his PVT, but at least in this tournament, from what we've seen, it's hard to say otherwise, right? He just ran through every single top 4 Zerg, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does look unstoppable. I think the nickname Iron Curtain is very fitting for him, and certainly not just because he's Russian, man. He is insanely good at this game. And the event that Zero just announced in the break, Ozzy, I'm not sure if you probably were in the bathroom, but he actually announced, he announced it's going to be 4 foreigner players up against 4 Chinese players. They're obviously playing against each other as well, but you know, we've got Dewalt there, we got Bonif, we've got Ziki. And against players like Mihu and stuff, like it's going to be super interesting to see just how close the canyon of skill is going to be between those top Chinese players and the top foreigner players as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it. I mean, the Chinese, you kind of mentioned it earlier, I believe, about them doing really well in the ASL, the qualifiers, and kind of getting really close to qualifying a couple of times. So it's always kind of nice whenever we got our top players that are kind of around that level, get to see them playing against each other, especially someone like Bonif, right, who is also kind of a for fun gamer, right? But he still competes on that level. But he's not the kind of guy that would like put himself out there and do qualifiers, ASL qualifiers. So we get to see him play against the guys that are trying it and kind of see how he stacks up against them. So that's always really interesting to see.
Yeah, I think Bonif said something like he hates flying as well or something, so he probably has no intention of like flying to Korea to compete in the ASL, whereas I think that would be like a dream for Dewalt after the amount of hard work he's poured into the game. He would super be stoked for that. We've also got Eon Zerg, by the way, forgot to mention in the foreigner lineup for that. So 2 great Zergs, 2 great Protoss players for the foreigner team, and then you've also got lots of great Chinese players, including Miho and Xiaoguge and a few others. So yeah, that's going to be a super fun event to watch. I think that's actually pretty soon, Ozzy. I don't know if you can make any of those casts, but I think it's going to be like early to mid-January time.
Yeah, I'll be able to see or be a part of the first like half or so, but I will be leaving for vacation on the 19th, so I won't be able to catch the tail end of it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, you're going to Hawaii.
My first vacation in about 10 years.
I'm envious, man. I haven't been on vacation in a long time as well. I hope you have a blast and get some much needed R&R. But guys, this has been a pretty sick series. Like, it was pretty one-sided, 5-1 at the end of the day, but we got to see some great games, and we even saw Arbiter recalls. I was really stoked to see that. And Dewalt, he didn't do his usual stuff. He actually was mixing up his build orders a lot. I really liked the fast DT play on Metropolis into Arbiter. That was really spicy.
Yeah, that was a cool way of using the tempo there. We don't really get to see that very often. Or really ever. I say very often. I've like never seen someone do that, but I do agree. It's super strong. It's a really cool way of kind of closing the game out.
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. Okay, so apparently we've got cRoSs for a little bit of a post-game interview, and then we're going to talk to Dewalt a couple of minutes after that. So let's bring him in. Let's talk to cRoSs and see how much fun he was having.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, cRoSs? Did you have fun playing that series?
Not for sure. I got the mic. So.
Yeah, that was kind of painful, man. I was so devastated to see it because in game number 1 on Radiant, you look so strong, man. And you played a style that I don't see from you a lot as well. And you did a great job of turtling up and doing counterattacks and dismantling Dewalt. I had so much hope for you after that game 1. Like, what happened after that point? Like, did you not want to lean into that style more? Did you want to just keep mixing it up? Like, why didn't you kind of keep going with what worked for you in game number 1?
Game number 1, I played Muta style. It's a very standard play, and I played that style quite often. So I didn't really do something surprising. After first game, that's not how I played against Dewalt for sure. So I think Dewalt didn't expect that. So it worked out really well. Second game, I did the Muta build. I killed 2 probes in the early game. I was very ahead. And I showed the Hydra then on third on purpose, and I went to Mutas. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but just my I could have done a little better with my micro and could have finished the game. But even though I didn't finish the game there, I made a mistake. I was supply blocked and lost Mutas in the middle of the map, which was the game-ending mistake there. So I took damage from cRoSs, the DT which I didn't have to make. The first and second game, because I'm losing the series 1-0 to start, I wanted to win those 2 games, and I think that series could have been different if I took the second game. So I felt bad about it. And
you killed so many cRoSs as well with the Mutas in the main base and stuff. We saw you like remaking a second den in your natural and then canceling it and throwing it Evo. Did you just forget that you made the Hydra den at the third, or were you trying to make an Evo and just made a den by accident, or what happened there?
No, I just made a mistake that I forgot that I made a Hydra den on third.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
what we
canceled and
assumed.
I went another chamber.
Okay. Yeah, we felt like you could have done a lot better in that game number 2, and I think you're completely right that the series would have looked a lot different if you had a bit of a tempo lead going up 2-1. And then on Dominator in set number 3, you kind of like had a bit of a mishap. You showed a bunch of links to the scouting probe. The scouting probe got into the main base, saw there was no lair, and you kind of whiffed with the Hydra bust. And I think from that point onwards, I saw you fall apart a little bit with your execution. Like, what was your mental process at that point? Were you struggling to like focus and get into the flow state at that point onwards?
The third game at Dominator, I didn't see his buildings with my overload. And then I went to the 12 o'clock and I didn't see anything. And then I sent my link there and I was hitting the gate. And apparently I didn't see a cannon there. I only see a gate and a 40. So I thought he was a gate first. And I didn't see a single Zilla in the natural. So I thought it was a gate first. Zilla was running to my base. So I already messed up there because I made links when he was forged. And I was going to go just a standard play there and go into 973. But already after showing the links, I just had no choice but going to 973 Hydra. That was the only way I could play. So it just didn't go the way that I wanted for sure. I was unlucky.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. That's a shame. And I agree. Go on, Ozzy. You said what you were going to say.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. That's a bit unfortunate. I didn't notice that's what had happened because I was also very confused about the lings and stuff. So that makes perfect sense about what was happening there.
Yeah, we were a little bit confused about that, but we understood what happened with the Hydra Den in game 2, or at least we assumed so. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense that you just assumed it was Gateway first because you didn't have total information. That's a shame, man. And I think you're completely right as well. I think if you win those first 2 games, I think the series looks really different. And then you drag out the series to Screaming Sea, which I think you're a very strong favorite on to beat Dewalt. Against Bonif, I think he can kind of make up the difference with the Zerg in balance. But against Dewalt, I think he would have taken that. And then you could maybe like tie up the series at that point onwards and close it out on Radion in the final game. So that's a shame, man. But you played pretty good in that game number 1. I thought you played fantastically. You looked like you were playing so good that if you just trained a little bit more, you'd be one of the top foreigner players for sure.
Thank you.
Well, better luck next time, cRoSs. I hope we have you back for more games in the future. Like, I don't want you to feel too disheartened about that. Keep coming back to the BSL if you're feeling up to it. Would love to see more from you. Do you have anything else you want to say to your fans, or Ozzy? Do you have anything you would like to add?
No, I think you pretty much got it all covered. You know, it was a good effort, right? I mean, I agree with John. That first game, it really gave me a lot of hope too. I was starting to believe. And yeah, I feel like if you did actually put in the time and effort, you could absolutely be one of the best Zergs outside of Korea.
Yeah, for sure, man. We really do feel that sincerely. Hope you're not taking the loss too bad.
No, but thank you very much, and congrats to Dewalt once again. He played well and he deserved it. I think he didn't drop a single series or something throughout the BSL. So
I think you're the only
Yeah.
guy that was taking games off of him, honestly. Like, he was 3-0ing pretty much everyone else. So that's something
Oh.
you can go home about. You're the only guy that's beating Dewalt, pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah, but Dewalt did the Dewalt thing. He deserves it. So congrats to Dewalt.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, cRoSs. Again, I hope to see you in more BSLs in the future. You take care of yourself now, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting cRoSs in the finals next season.
Would like to see it, Ozzy. Would like to see it.
Yeah.
Let's get Dewalt in there. Let's get the man of the hour in there.
He might not quite be ready yet, though.
He's too busy doing cartwheels around his room and doing backflips off the wall.
Yeah, we makes me think of we did a show match kind of recently with Ray Rain and Father, some like high B low A players, and when Ray Rain won that series, he did a celebration stream that lasted like 6 hours and didn't play again for like 3 or 4 days, and he was like, "Dude, I'm just." I miss those days. I wish I could I wish I could appreciate my StarCraft wins that much.
Moonray makes me laugh so much, man. He's a total character. I absolutely adore that guy.
Yeah, he's another guy that I'm jealous of when it comes to that stuff. Moonray, man, when it doesn't matter who he beats, he'll be like a C ranker and he'll be like yeah, in the clouds, man. He's so happy.
Yeah. Is Dewalt, are you there, buddy?
Oh yeah.
How are you feeling? The man of the hour, the Iron Curtain from Russia with Love. How are you feeling after that victory, man?
Feeling great, man. Thank you.
I really loved the mix-up that you did on Metropolis, where you made the Citadel before the Stargate, and you made a DT so fast that he didn't even anticipate having to defend it, man. I love that you're adding like little bits of spice into your play and mixing it up. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I've used this build quite a lot, but like maybe 3-4 years ago, I kind of forget about it
Yeah.
for some time and just decided to go for it since it was kind of good start for me. I skip
Yeah.
a cannon and get my gateway and gas before cannon, so it was really good timing overall.
Yeah, you were super optimized that game with the cross scout. So talk me through that cross scout. Like, are you doing that just to identify close positions or not? Or what's the thought process behind that scouting pattern?
It's pretty much just for what I did. If you got your opponent on a cross spawn, then you can, against Overpool, you can just skip Forge and go for Nexus first and then go for Forge after all. So, and for Zerg, it's really hard to identify if you're on a close spawn or cross spawn. So he won't go for like 4 links straight into your base since you're on cross spawn and he doesn't know where are you. So it's pretty good. I use this cross spawn scout quite a lot lately.
Yeah, man, you should definitely keep it up. It's looking fantastic. And how are you feeling? Zero just made the announcement about the Chinese event that we're going to be doing very soon in just a week or so. How are you feeling about going into that? Because you're playing alongside players like that you're familiar with, Bonif, Eon Zerg, Ziki, but you're going up against some heavy hitters, Zhao Guga, Mihu, and some of these other guys. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel confident that you're going to take it to these guys?
Yeah, I feel confident about these guys as well. I didn't play much against Dugu. Don't know really what his style is nowadays. Miho is a really strong competitor always. So he's pretty much the top foreigner, no Korean player, I think. Maybe alongside with Xiao Shuai right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why Xiao Shuai and Zhang Hun didn't play for this season.
They're both really good.
I think it will be a great tournament.
Yeah, those guys are getting really close to getting into the ASL, man, if you were paying any attention to the qualifiers. And I have a lot of hope that you're going to do it one of these days. I really want to see you in the ASL. Do you have a lot of belief that one of these days you're going to crack it and you're actually going to get to fly to Korea?
Yeah, sure. I will try my best to qualify for ASL someday, but I'm not sure for this year because it will be really tough for me since I've got some stuff to do in my real life. I've got to move out to the different city, so it will be kind of hard year for me. So it will be almost impossible to fly to Korea or China to participate. Like if I will be able to play from my home without a latency problem, then I will definitely play qualifiers, but I'm not sure if it will be possible.
Don't where you live in Russia, it's actually quite good for you to get decent ping for Chinese and Korean players on the ladder, right? Do you have pretty good ping against them?
Not really like great. It's good enough to play a nice game, but it's not perfect. And as soon as you start winning games against Koreans, they start whining about ping anyway, and they start like they always go to admin and say like it's not playable and stuff like this. So if your doesn't get perfect turn rate 24 low latency, then they are not gonna play with you in qualifiers.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest disadvantages to being outside of Korea, right? Is you're just never going to get that good low latency to get the practice that you need, man. It's a shame because I think that you're definitely one of the only foreigner players on the planet that's even capable of challenging those guys in pretty much any game besides the Chinese players, I mean. So I really do hope one day you're successful in your endeavors to qualifying for the ASL. But I'm really stoked that we got to see some great plays from you today as well. The Arbiter play as well. You followed up the DT with Arbiter with recalls, and I don't think that was much of a meme. I don't think you were trolling either. Like Arbiter recall is actually really good as long as you're optimized and you're already ahead in the game. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, on this particular map, it's pretty good since he took a corner base as a force base, so he'll try to defend it with some lurkers and the Nidus Canal later on. So you have to like try to get on moves like Arbiter or mass shuttle play to kill this base and or you have to be able to attack in a few positions at the same time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be pretty hard, like Hive game. Like playing PvZ against Hive is not an easy task for any Protoss, especially on a high level. So you have to do some moves to prevent this, to kill Zerg as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think that's your biggest strength in PvZ. You're really good at optimizing the build order and then playing phenomenally well in the mid game. Like your timings and your trading, like you always skirmish well with the Zerg and set yourself up for a more comfortable late game so you can kind of circumnavigate the power spike of cracklings with Swarm and Plague. I think you do a fantastic job at that. I want to actually ask you, how much do you train exactly? Because I know you play pretty much more than any other foreigner player, but I don't know the exact amount. Like, how many games on average are you playing a day or a week? Like, how many hours are you putting into StarCraft on average?
Well, maybe I'm streaming pretty much every day, but sometimes I do commentary in Russian. So I think it's around like 20 games, maybe 20, maybe 30 games. I'm not playing that much nowadays. Like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I've played like way more games than I play right now. But still, I try to be like it's all right to play like 10 games maybe daily to be in a good shape. But if you wanna improve, then you have to play more. Definitely have to play more than this amount. But I try to play as much as possible, of course. But sometimes I still have to commentate some stuff, and I've got a family, kid, and so I can't spend way too many time on
Chaosu
StarCraft
tip
nowadays.
69
for sure.
euros.
Yeah,
BSL.
while I've got you here, I actually wanted to ask. I noticed on your stream on the last series you played against cRoSs, I noticed you were analyzing that replay on Metropolis, and you were going through it quite slowly. Like that was actually quite a crazy game. Like, what was your analysis from rewatching that match, and how did you feel about it?
Oh, I don't remember exactly. I remember the game, but I don't remember what analyze than I did. I think it was. Oh, I just sent like 2 High Templars. I had to attack just with 1 High Templar just to throw some storm or just to put some pressure. But I sent 2 more High Templars, which had to just stay at home and storm the mutas or just merchant to Archon to stop the mutas. So I just forget about these High Templars on the 3rd base
Yeah.
of Derk as well. So those 2 High Templars pretty much cost me the game.
Yeah, probably.
But I was like, okay, whatever. When I sent those High Templars to attack, I was like, okay, I shouldn't do that, but I was like, oh, whatever. And it actually cost me the game, yeah.
That's fair enough, man. Well, Ozzy, do you have anything you would like to add or ask right now?
The only thing I wanted to ask was how you were feeling after that first game, because that first game, cRoSs, I feel like played really, really well, and you ended up losing that one. So I was just kind of curious from your perspective, were you worried that maybe cRoSs was coming in really, really strong, or did it just not bother you and you just felt like you needed to clean a couple things up, or what exactly was going through your head?
Well, I knew cRoSs is a pretty strong player anyway, so I just didn't play it perfect. I playing when you going for Archons and the Archon Zealot and Corsairs, you have to like put some pressure before Hydras pops out, like a lot of
Yeah.
Hydras, and he sneaks in at the 4th base at the same time. So I had to cancel his 4th base with my attack, but his 4th base was pretty like long distance from my like path, so I couldn't. I didn't scout for it, and I couldn't really kill it anyway. I could kill it, but I would lose all my units. And after this, if you're going for Archon, then your timings with Dragoons and Templars will be a little bit like a little bit late. So, but I still went for push, like heavy push from 2 bases. But I had to go for a 2nd forge and just macro style at this point. And then my first attack didn't get much success as well. So the game was lost at this point. So that's all right. I didn't like tilt too much because of that. So I just played the next game better and can control it everything perfectly.
Yeah, you definitely look unfazed for the rest of the series after that. So, yeah, nice, strong mental, great performance. You know, congratulations on winning BSL. You looked very, very strong today, and I guess you're waiting the finals of the IPSL as well. So if you win both of those, you kind of just won both Premier and foreign tournaments too. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, big congratulations to you, man. Seriously, like you're a really sick gamer, and I hope we see a lot more from you from the future. And keep at it with the ASL. Maybe not this year, but you know, next season towards the end of the year would be great to see you in the qualifiers performing well, no matter what happens. Congratulations to you yet again. Thanks so much for the interview, man. I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you very much, guys, as well.
All right.
Well, guys, that's been an absolute epic Bombastic StarLeague season, number 21, and hopefully many more to come as well. We need to get all the way into the 30s and beyond. Hopefully we can keep StarCraft alive and thriving for decades and it become the retro RTS that it deserves to be, that everyone still plays, and there'll be all these AI slop games that are being made and everyone's just like, oh, this is trash, man. I'm going back to the OG StarCraft. That's where the real games are.
Yeah, so you know, I make a lot of jokes about winning BSL soon. Obviously, I'm joking. This isn't going to happen, but I do hope that you guys root for me in BSL 50 when I probably will win. So let's at least get to BSL 50, and then we can kind of take it from there.
And thanks so much for you guys' support as well. I think Zero did the shout out to all the Patreons and what have you during the break already, so we won't bore you with that yet again. But please dig deep into your pockets and throw a few bones our way and help out not only Zero but all the players as well to make sure we can keep the lights on here at the BSL. It's been an absolute blast to cast, especially alongside Arzi Dahaki, one of my favorite casters to do it alongside. And I hope we get to do more in the future. It'd be nice to see if we can do some of that Chinese event together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I think that'll wrap it up for us here today. So hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast. Great games today, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.